Y'all know who it is, man. It's the Dolphins D. We already in here. Ready to turn up this year. We gon' get it.
Welcome to Hard Rock Stadium.
We gon' defend. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We got the whole squad with me now. Train to go. Come play games if you want to. Try to crash eyes. You done took the wrong route. We gon' crash you like a stunt dude. Check y'all like 1, 2. Tap your head like your uncle. You wanna ride, stay buckle. It get loud down here, get wild down here. It's time to feel the jungle. Never disrespect the squad. It's defended by a line and some beasts on the feast on opposition. Another line in the back, singing to the ER just in case you got through the first line with tripping. But if for some reason it get crazy, I got watchers on the corner for my safety. Everybody here well coached. Change the weather under pressure, stay cool like an AC. Woo! But we still make heat. Woo! What is you trying to play me? We be 3 plus 8 deep, but I'm a fool so low. Can't never do great beat. Be great, only way to do great things. Hit hard, only way to make a statement. Come up in our territory, make a payment. Or be in debt with your neck. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad.
I hit them boys. We throw them toys. Got saying that QB. We them boys. We the realest. We go gorillas. We out here, homie. You gon' feel us. Don't make me come down. Be in that box. Like I'm red. I knock your socks. Won't play y'all boys. Cause we some bullies. We'll take your cookies. Cause y'all some rookies. I'm in the building. Me and Shot Jones. We do lane. We don't play zone. We play that man. So guard your hand. I see your eyes. You're scared,
we
man.
We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. And we gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. Yeah.
Man, y'all all been part of the Buffet Boys. Shout out Solo D. Shout out to DWA. Let's eat.
Yo, Solo. You know they just say you gotta make a hit squad part 2. But you know, man, we hungry this time, man. We gotta eat this time. Back in the beast mode. AFC was trying to rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. And these boys run hard, man, I must say. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway. I say and not quote. Go harder, go home is the motto. A pick or a sack is the lotto. Let's cook them like Emerald Lagasso. My bad, Lagasse.
He going south, that is not me. Hungry for greatness, so I eat. Stay in my zone like a Bob B. Jumping off the edge like Ian Shaq. Straight pressure, never easing back. Protection on the way you gon' get wins. Split through the middle like Wilkins. Got some backers on the back that's gon' back me up. Straight action, we be acting up. Tell Coach drop his best plan, but it still get snatched by X-Man. Cause we back in the beast mode. AFC, we tryna rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder, tryna slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. And these boys going hard, man, I must take. Tryna stay on one route like the busway. Tryna eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the O-line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Eat that one round like a buffet.
Eating like a buffet, it be a long day. We ain't gon' play. Get them boys green, no subway. Pick the ball off X and BJ. I don't care about what he and she say. That's nonsense. Check the replay. I work overnight and it's early morning, but I'm turned up cause it's game day. They don't really want it with your boy. O-line really get destroyed. Ex-Patriot, Cal Van Noy. Put him on his butt, hurt hemorrhoids. What's a grown man to a boy? Jim him at the line, yeah, you the throw it. Disciplined coach Brian Flores. Never getting rattled to the boys. Fans better pay attention, even social distance. I got a witness and you know we blitzing, but mind your business. Christian Wilkins on the line of scrimmage. Far from timid, push it to the limit, rub the engine. You know we gotta get it, Nick Needle. You know we gonna pick it, Van Ginkle. Take it to the business. Fans up till my life is finished. Say it with my chest cause I meant it. A lie, no why, I admit it. New era, yeah, our division. A win streak, we just keep on winning. So I lose, tell them suck a limit. Bills with the Jets and New England. Miami top dogs where you hit me.
Back in the beast mode. AFC, we tryna rap up the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder, tryna slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. And these boys going hard, man, I must say. Tryna stay on one route like the busway. Tryna eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the O-line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
Know the whole city rising. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He knowing when to go with fit. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we in rock. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't want to overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, you gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say tour from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and now it's time to lay the smack down. You think he Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit him with the people's elbows. Stick together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some shadows. Custom with some darkest colors. Just to let them know we here. Yeah. I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
To a time, to a time. Really hope he the man. Hope we found us a gem. Like the Heat found Bam. Wanna take time to thank Fitz, cause he put on a show. But the young man up in the whole city know. Time to catch all the blessings. Cash out on the investment. Ball out, don't choke. Fins want all the smoke. Chris Gregg gave hope. Coach flow like spoke. Dan Marino still the GOAT, but to a man on go. Watch to a man throw. Watch to a man scope. Watch to a man dishes that we never ever seen before. Hands up, let's win. Boy, I'm ready for a ring. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. It's damn week, use 10.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Vince for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
Hey guys, I'm Danny Johnson, CEO at TPP, The Positive Porpoise.
I'm Jason Miller from Fins Up SoCal Fan Club.
I'm Scott Howell from Atlanta DolFan Club.
Mark Angelo, NorCal DolFan Club.
And you're listening to Clock Blockers, Miami fans' #1 morning show.
Run it, 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 run it.
Good morning, Miami fans. What is up? It is Tuesday. It is a What Would Shula Do Tuesday. But it is Tuesday. And you want to know what? Do you want to know what? Football season starts today, son. Are you ready? I'm excited. I am stoked. I am ready to go because the #1 team in all the land, that's right, your favorite, my favorite, I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins, baby. They showed up the training camp today. Oh, man. Oh, man. Dude, we got an action-packed show for you today. We're going to have a good time. We are going to have a good time. I am super excited, man. And little rumblings as I'm looking on Twitter here. A man that goes by the name of X showed up to training camp today. So I am super excited about it all. Super excited about it all. All right, look, we got a lot to get forward to look forward to today. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of big news over in Tokyo, Japan, coming out this morning. We're going to talk a little bit of Olympics. Then we're going to talk a little bit of news and updates for the Miami Dolphins because another signing happened too. So look, we have a lot, and then we're just going to get into the DolFan Chat, which is going to be about training camp this morning. It's going to be about X-Man showing up. I am super, super excited. We're going to have such a good time, and I'm super excited that y'all are here with me this morning. But you know what today is? Today is a What Would Shula Do Tuesday. That is right, a What Would Shula Do Tuesday. And if you guys don't know What Would Shula Do, What Would Shula Do is a brand that was started by the great, the wonderful, the great Wizard of Oz. I'm talking about Wade O. Started this beautiful brand and podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, his latest episode, episode 11, X's and O's, make sure you go check it out. So little did, we're going to have to get you to have a new episode, Wade. You got to get a new episode out on the air. We're going to bring my man Wade out in a couple of seconds. But before we bring him out, I do want to remind everybody, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Smack it. Tap it. Do whatever you got to do. Pancake. Eat it. Have it with your coffee this morning. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Subscribe. Hit subscribe. Come on, guys. What are you doing? And look, wherever my beautiful, wonderful Finlaws are at that are members of the channel already, guys, you can become a member too. Join now. Join now. Join the channel. We got amazing content coming out for you. All of my beautiful, wonderful Finlaws, brothers and sisters that are already members of the channel, go ahead and let people know what they need to do right there in the chat box. Come on now. Let's go. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Like, for example, next week debuting. That's right. I'm talking about the Fire and Ice Combat Sports podcast hosted by Angel Ortiz. Make sure you guys check that out. That's going to be awesome. If you guys, like I said already, haven't checked out, make sure you checked out What Would Shula Do. We also have The Freak Show, a.k.a. Dolph Freaky. If you haven't checked out her new episode, make sure or latest episode, you check that out. And also, tonight, if you speak a little Espanol, we have Hellfins, the Spanish-speaking podcast, with their number 2 episode debuting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So they're going to be on live from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight. And they're going to be, if you speak a little Spanish, a little Espanol, you'll be able to interact with them. They're going to start doing their show live, and I'm super excited about it. I'm here for it. So make sure you guys check out their show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, U.S. They'll be on for 2 hours every Tuesday night, and I'm super excited about that. So make sure you guys check them out. All right. Also, this is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you guys haven't signed up already, make sure you do that now. And remember what the number 1 Miami fan morning show is. That's right. I'm talking about Clock Blockers. Okay? All right. Without further ado, let's bring in my man that I have on with me every Tuesday morning. My man, Wade O. What's up, Wade?
What up, Steve?
What's going on, man? How are you?
What do you mean? X showed up to camp, bro.
X showed up to camp, my guy. He showed up to camp.
We look. That's the answer to my question, and I know you want to probably talk about a couple other things before we get to X, but I don't want to be the guy that says I told you so, because that's not what's important. What's important is he's there.
What is important is you told me so. You did tell me so. I will eat my words. You did tell me so.
And look, obviously, like I said, I know you got some other stuff I'm sure you want to cover before we get there. There's a lot of news in some of the things that are going on right now. But yeah, man, like that's the big one for us. We there.
Hey, you sound so different with the actual microphone, my guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments here though. They're saying it's kind of quiet.
It's kind of quiet. Headphones need volume. His volume is low. Well, I think it's better now that let's see here. Do you guys hear him now that he put his microphone close to his mouth? Let me know. Put it in the comment box. We're gonna get Wade right.
This is like trial and error over here, man.
Cap for Life says, "What would your headphone do?" True story. Oh, A-Rod says, "Much better now." Flipside Fishing said it went up. And now we can hear you breathe. Now you sound like,
listen,
I am your father.
Just the prototype. We told y'all what's going to happen, right? We're going to start selling these helmets that got these things built into them. You know what I mean?
He's going to look like Episode 1 Star Wars. Little Anakin Skywalker.
Blue leader standing by.
Blue leader standing by. Oh, let me see that cup.
All right. So before I get ahead of myself here, this is just one of them regular, the regular style Yetis ones with some stickers on them.
Let me see it.
The stickers.
Where can they get those stickers at?
I mean, they can't right now, man.
See, you got exclusive stuff up and
going.
This
is why I told you I ain't want to show it off quite yet. You know what I mean? Prototype R&D phase.
You can't just be throwing stuff out there and ready to go. Come on, man.
I'll tell you what. If you wanted some stickers, East 12 tailgate.
I need some stickers, bro.
We're gonna take some down to the tailgate and hand them out.
Can you send me some so I can put them up on my wall here?
We could do something like that. So we are gonna looking at getting patches and stuff too.
Look at you, big guy. Look at you doing big things over there at What Would Shula Do? Okay, all right. Let's get kind of started. We're gonna get into X. We're gonna get into training camp, but we gotta hit the highlights first. And some of the highlights coming out of Tokyo, Japan, in the 2020 Olympics, a.k.a. 2021 Olympics. Simone Biles, beautiful, wonderful, amazing Simone Biles, out of the team, women's gymnastics. And there's no apparent injury. They're saying it has to do with mental, So she's being replaced in the team final for USA. So essentially one of the best gymnasts ever is stepping out of competition in the middle of the Olympics. That's a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to know much about the world of women's gymnastic Olympics, right? What I can tell you is, like, bringing it back to football for a second. I actually had this conversation
from an athlete.
the other day.
It's an athlete, who's at the top of her game, who's like, I'm out. I can't do it.
So bringing it back to football for a second, I actually had this conversation the other day. For those of you guys that don't remember, there was a very prominent, well, I never thought he was that good, but very well-known NFL player that actually had something similar happen by the name of Vince Young. So if you guys remember, a couple seasons in, he was struggling so bad, they brought Kerry Collins out of retirement and replaced him after the first game, and he went missing. And, there was all this like suicide talk and all this stuff going on. And I'm really curious with all the information that comes out now, like all the new studies on CTE and all this stuff, like how much of this actually leads to, like, they say soccer players are getting it now from just hitting the ball with their head.
I don't know how much women's gymnastics you're getting hit in the head, but I get it, right? Like, it's a mental thing now. And so, like, when you're at the top of your game, it's very, very interesting. Real quick, I just want to give a big shout out to Wayne Collard, Fins Nation UK in the building. Real quick, total side note, I want to get back into this. Saturday, I'm in my man chair in my living room, my recliner, okay, enjoying time with my family, just chilling.
Y'all couldn't picture Steven having a recliner, right?
And I get this random FaceTime call through Facebook through Martin Lydon from Fins Nation UK. And for those of you who don't know, Fins Nation UK is the big fan club out of London or out of England. I don't want to say London. I apologize, Wayne. And it's Martin, and he's pretty much hammered along with everybody there because Fins Nation UK had their fan club weekend, their all-season fan club weekend this weekend over there. Bro, they went wild over there, son.
Oh, yeah.
Them guys over in England know how to party.
They party, man.
And
look, they got a party to watch soccer. Like, they can do it for something like this. They know they party.
I know. It was crazy. But it was awesome because it made my day. They couldn't hear me for nothing, but Martin took the camera around. I saw Wayne, saw his wonderful wife, his wonderful daughter. I saw Robbie Warren and the rest of the crew over there at Fins Nation UK, and they all looked like they were having a great time. So shout out to Fins Nation UK. Love those guys over there. All right, back to what I was saying. So we're talking about the number one athlete in the world stepping out of competition. And I think we kind of forget how big now the mental game is. And people will, might want to say, well, athletes didn't do this years ago. There's no way that you would see this now. It's crazy. My girl, Naomi Osaka, went down yesterday, lost in the third round of the Olympics. She was the number one seed remaining. So it just seems like all these big name athletes are getting picked off over there. And it's just, I find it very interesting.
I don't know necessarily if it's something that never happened. I mean, if there's a famous story out there about the Raiders-Bucks Super Bowl and how the All-Star center, I can't remember his name, didn't actually show up to the Super Bowl and had this big stress breakdown about how they changed the most of the game plan the night before. There's actually a lot of theories that it was like thrown because of that. But what I was kind of getting at earlier is a lot of this new research is showing that the CTE stuff isn't just coming from head injuries. Like they're saying there's boxers that hardly ever got hit in the head that are getting it from just getting beat up in the ribs and all these other things. Like there's more and more science every day about like how all your body really is connected, man. Like for those of you out there, like, with everything that happened this last year and a half that like really started focusing on your health, I'm sure you guys noticed it. But like me personally, when all this COVID-19 stuff came out last year, I started taking a bunch of vitamins and all this other stuff. This is the first year, it's been like a year and a half now, that I haven't been sick, right? With all this other stuff going on. And it's been exercise. It's been, more sunshine, more vitamins.
Are you sure? Wait, time out. Let's talk. You sure it hasn't been more beer? Because,
not more. I mean, I think the same level as previously.
Because I feel like if, especially like mosquitoes, for some reason, my wife and I get killed with mosquito bites every year. But I feel like somebody like you who probably drinks tons of alcoholic beverages, and I'm not saying anything, but they don't want any of your blood, bro. That's all I'm saying. You're probably having a mimosa right now. I'm not judging or anything.
They're mine's kind of like that. The most you have in the morning, right? Like they want it, they just can't handle too much of it. I do got everything. I got some Crystal Head. I got some local. Fun fact, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Crystal Head is actually the most purest vodka in the world, and it's owned by Dan Aykroyd. So
true story.
Right. What a way to start
the
day. Yeah. They filter it over
something
diamond.
every day, even if it's with Wado. I love it. I love it. All right, look, this morning, guys, good morning, Finn's family. Good morning, Finn Laws. We're going to get to Dolphin stuff in a minute. Take a chill pill, people. Well, look, just to kind of give you an update on the medal count, USA still leads with 22 total medals, and they also are tied with Japan and China for the most gold. They went from 7 yesterday to 9 today. So it'll be very interesting to kind of see where they go from here. Simone Biles out, but, USA women's gymnastic team still involved in a great fight with Russia at the moment. So we'll see what happens with that. And, just a lot of other things going on. The basketball team lost. And I said this yesterday that I'm really scared about the men's basketball team in the Olympics. I don't know if they're going to medal. And I don't know how you feel about that. There's 3 guys that are on that team that played through the NBA Finals. So, look, I think the world's gotten better. The team is probably tired. And at the same time, I don't know how many of those guys – I'm not going to sit here and question their integrity of the game, but, we're not the dream team anymore, right? So it's interesting.
Well, they're not the dream team. I mean,
yes,
these guys
that's true.
What were they together, 3 days or something like that before?
Something ridiculous. It wasn't a lot.
And let's be honest, these are not the best players we have to offer on top of that. You know what I mean? Like you just said it, guys. They had the super short off season. The finals just ended, and it's not like Kevin Durant was there. It's not like, of course I'm going to name my boy Ben Simmons didn't go, right? But this isn't the best way to even the NBA Finals this year was short on stars, so to speak. Now I don't care. Y'all seen these? I'm a big Giannis fan.
Well, I mean, look, Phoenix had Devin Booker. They had Chris Paul.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Booker, I think, is a star now. But before this playoff run, I don't know if you would necessarily say that. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, this isn't. Not only is this not the best we have to offer, this definitely wasn't the best situation. And even this Olympics, it's on an off cycle year. It's just it's a weird thing, man. I'm not putting any. Don't worry about that. Give it 4 years. We'll be back.
Look, it'll be very interesting to kind of see what happens with the men's basketball team. They're not out of it yet, but it ain't looking good is what I'm going to say to that. And then, real quick, just the last thing, Michael Phelps not in this Olympics, but that is not stopping from USA men's and women straight dominating the pool. And for some reason, we just seem to I'm not saying we've won every event, but we seem to have dominated the pool yet again. So I find that that's pretty cool. I enjoy watching the swimmers. My brother competed in college as a competitive swimmer in college.
I saw the girl from Alaska. She was the first Olympic athlete to come out of Alaska, and I think she won the gold in one of the swimming events.
There was a 14-year-old that finished 4th.
Dude, have y'all seen this? The skateboard girl?
Yo, she went viral years ago for being in a dress, skateboarding, like a costume, like a Elsa dress or something like that.
I know they said Tony Hawk was talking about her 7 years ago, and now
I know,
she's
and now
13.
she won gold.
She must have been 6 years old, when he was talking about. I mean, again, it's hard for me to keep track. I don't even know who the Simone chick is y'all keep talking about. But it's hard, to keep track of all this stuff. It's because it's just there's so much of it. But when you hear a story like that, if she's 13 and they've been talking about her for 7 years already, damn.
I know. And look, here's the thing: when you have 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds in the Olympics, competing at the highest level, it's crazy. A lot of people don't forget Michael Phelps competed when he was 15 or 16. He didn't win, but his very first Olympics, he competed and didn't win. So
Daniel Tosh used to have the great joke. I'll use a Daniel Tosh joke on there only because he's
another Dolphins fan.
Exactly. He used to have a great joke about I don't know what's more embarrassing, that Michael Phelps fell from grace for smoking weed, or that you guys looked up to a swimmer in the first place.
Hey, look, Michael Phelps is from where I currently reside here in this Baltimore area. So, bro, don't hate on my man. Don't hate on my man.
No, man, listen, good for him, dude. Like, yo, I love when and this is like a more common thing nowadays, but when any of these people find a way to make money doing what they really love that, like, it didn't exist before. Like, we just mentioned Tony Hawk. Like, nobody made skateboard money like that before Tony Hawk. I mean, there were dudes that like started companies or whatever, but like my dude legitimately became world famous for being a skateboarder. He was the first one to do that.
Tony Hawk.
You know what I mean?
What is it? Tony Hawk. What's the video game? Tony Hawk.
It was just called. We used to call it Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
But
like,
no, but like
that was the video game.
Yeah, but like they were, doing competitions and all these other things. There was always that, but he was the first one to really like make money at it, and now people do it with all kinds of stuff. I see ads for like handmade knives out of elk bone and stuff like that. Like people find a way to do what they want to do.
Bone, and really?
No, I live in Colorado, but yeah, man, like I love it. I know a lot of the social media stuff's allowing people to do that. You just gotta. It's kind of a different thing, right? It's not just being passionate about what you love. It's you also have to be that marketing guy and that all the side and all that other stuff. But hey, at least the avenue's out there, man. That's something that wasn't there not that long ago. So
it wasn't at all. And now you're definitely starting to see things be a little bit different. All right. So before we get into the news and notes, very last thing I do want to bring up before we go into anything else. That's enough Olympic talk for this morning. We had some big news coming out before training camp happened yesterday, or starting today, excuse me. I'll get into the Dolphins here. Hunter Long made it official yesterday, and we had to release Blunt, the undrafted tight end, whose dad was a Hall of Famer for the Steelers.
Mel Blunt.
Yep. We had to release him, and we did an injury settlement with him. So we released him. We signed Hunter Long. We finally get Hunter Long in here. And so now, it looks like we're ready to go. It looks like we're ready to go for this thing. And then this morning, the big news is I'm just here so I won't get fined. Basically, that's what it is. I'm just here. I had to, man. I'm here so I won't get fined.
Okay.
I'm here so I won't get fined. It would cost them $50,000 a day. I truly believe that's why he showed up.
We talked about this before, right? But like, if you're talking about, okay, I want more money, you're not going to give up money. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, of course, I think that's why most of the players showed up at training camp today. Like, the ones that aren't fighting for roster spots, you know what I mean? Like, there's a long history of some of these Pro Bowlers and stuff like that not coming to camp. But, let's be honest. The kids at camp, Flores has said time and time again, he's one of the hardest workers. He's one of the team players. I don't think there's any way he goes to camp and just acts like a fool.
The Dolphins are promoting him on Twitter. That says something.
Yeah, he's a Dolphin, man. Listen,
he is a Miami Dolphin. There's no doubt about that. Look, there's the newest face, Shaquem Griffin, showing up.
So Roman Soldiers over here, he's correct. Grant is walking in the opposite direction of Xavier Howard.
Oh, yeah, that is Jakeem walking in. All right, bro. Good to see you. Great playing with you. Peace, my guy. Love it.
But yeah,
love
man.
Love it.
Not to play the word like semantics game, but I would say most of the players that are the training camp right now are there so they don't get fined, man.
By the way, we signed another tight end too, Carson Mariai. Because what we need is more depth at tight end. That's what the Dolphins need.
We're gonna when Gesicki gets traded before the season starts.
Oh, here we go.
You explained it, the tight end pickups to me, but hey, another quick training camp little piece of news real quick, because the Jets continue to be the most dysfunctional organization in sports. Zach Wilson is not signed yet, even though training camp is starting. There's only 3 first-round picks not signed: Trey Lance, Rashawn Slater, and Zach Wilson.
Dude, look at this little get up. Albert Wilson, baby. Albert Wilson. My man is ready to go. I like the
70s.
Dude, he looks like he's a boxer ready to walk into a ring. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, man, dude, it's exciting, right? It's exciting that the Dolphins are here. They're ready to go. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. So explain to me, what is the most, I mean, is X showing up to training camp the biggest story?
For us, yes. Probably the biggest story right now is what happened with Aaron Rodgers. But he's not a Dolphin fan. So for those of you that don't know, Rodgers is also at camp. Him and the Packers struck a restructure deal, so this will be his last year in Green Bay.
Really?
Yep.
Now, is this his last year in football?
I said Green Bay.
It'll be very interesting to see. And just to kind of go back to your New York Jets, I mean, they're interesting. The moves they made, like, I question the moves the Dolphins have made over the last 20 years. I couldn't imagine being a Jets fan for many reasons. But they always seem to I scratch my head. Like, you can't bring in your rookie quarterback? That doesn't make sense to me.
Dude, I think I've said this before. There's a picture floating around on the internet somewhere from last year when the Jets beat the Rams. And there's a guy at the bar watching the game already wearing a Jets Trevor Lawrence jersey, like pulling his hair out, which I would never, ever, ever under any circumstances choose to lose a game. Like, I'm not that guy, but it's just, that's how, like, their fan
even
base
when the
like,
Jets win, they lose. That's,
right, dude.
That's
they're
the
like
funny
a
part
battered child. Like, they're so traumatized. They have a jersey halfway through this season of a guy who's coming out next year with no guarantee he's getting to their team. But yeah, man, it's brutal. I could not imagine. I mean, I'm in general, if your first round pick's not signed, I'm a little confused at this point. Like, especially a guy like Trey Lance, who they traded up so much to get out there in San Francisco, and Rashawn Slater, who was definitely a steal where they picked. But I mean, this is just, for those other teams, this is like what's going on. For the Jets, this is like Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's just
another case of the Tuesdays for the Jets.
It's so bad. Like, it's almost not fun to make fun of. I mean, it is, of course, it is.
So
but it's almost sadder than
stupid green team.
For real.
I'm not saying, look, I'm all about positivity up here, but it's tough to be positive about the Jets. There's nothing positive about them, in my opinion. All right, so we open up training camp. Do you think X showing up has more to do with not getting fined $50,000 a day? Or do you think it has to do with, I want to be a Dolphin?
I just think he didn't want to go to OTAs, man. Like, I think that's what it was, dude. Like, but I've said that before, so who knows? No, I think he wants to be a Dolphin, man, and I definitely think that he wants to be on the field above anything, right? Whether that's in Miami or somewhere else, I think he wants to be on the field rather than holding out, sitting at home. What I will say, and I kind of mentioned this to you right before we started this morning, is, I don't know how likely these teams are going to be right this second to trade, man. Especially, there's a real big cautionary tale going on right now in Seattle, and I've been in Seattle's corner when they've done this in the past, but they have kind of a track record of trading very late first-round picks for, like, proven Pro Bowl players. However, they traded a first-round pick for Clowney. Clowney walked after that season. They just traded 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams, I should say. And the reports this morning were that Seattle and Jamal Adams are extremely far apart on a contract extension, and it doesn't look like either side is budging ground, right? So, like, a trade for X theoretically would be because he doesn't like his contract. You would have to agree to that, restructured contract before you even get him to play for you. And I don't know, man. I think he plays this year in Miami, and we'll see what happens after that. We've been vocal about what could happen if, Byron Jones doesn't step his game up. I don't know what oatmeal question is going on over here in the chat. Something about oatmeal. But, yeah, man, like, I think X plays out this year. If he balls out, there may be some type of restructure in there, and we'll see. But I think it's more likely than not, and I said this before, but now, especially now that he's at camp, I think it's gone up even higher, that X plays as a Dolphin this year.
Well, another big thing. So one of the obviously off-season rumblings is Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant What do the Dolphins do with these two guys? Where are they going to be? And so Michael Thomas ends up going down for New Orleans. He's going to start the season on the physically unable to perform list, the PUP list. And, I'm sure that New Orleans inquired on many situations. But yesterday, they signed former Miami Dolphin, Mr. AKA 7-Eleven, Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan is back in the league, signs a deal with the New Orleans. Actually, I think it was it a trade? It wasn't a trade. I think it was a sign. But I do find it very interesting that, that they decided to do that and not go after a bigger name player. But that's not to say that won't happen. I tell people all the time, post June 1st cuts never happened. So there's going to be trades that happen in this offseason. So I'll find it very interesting to kind of see where those things happen and what teams, end up are in those trades. Are there anybody besides the Saints that you see looking at players, maybe somebody from the Miami Dolphins?
I mean, I don't see Devontae Parker as a Saint. First of all, him and Michael Thomas hate each other.
Okay.
Them sharing a locker room and all that stuff, they can't stand each other. But I also just think that's not – Miami doesn't have New Orleans doesn't have a ton of money to be thrown around. And even if they did, I mean, it's just not a position that, especially under Sean Payton, they've historically spent money on. Like Michael Thomas is probably the exception, not the rule. And look where it got him. I mean, they're having a real big financial issue now, and a big part of it's his deal. And I personally, like, if they had a better out clause in the deal, I didn't think he'd be on the Saints this year. Based on what the deal says, and I could pull it up, but I believe they have an out at the end of the season, and I think there's a very good chance Michael Thomas ain't on that team regardless. But with the O-line, with as good as the defense is with Kamara, I'm a big believer in Taysom Hill. I know there's a couple people, my boy Josh in this group over here specifically, that isn't. And I heard Drew Brees' thoughts, and it makes sense, right? Like the way you get the most out of both Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill is to have them both on the field at the same time. Don't necessarily limit Taysom Hill to just the quarterback position, but quite frankly, Sean Payton has drooled over the kid time and time again. He's the one that started last year. I think he's going to get the start now, especially because Jameis has that turnover bug. I don't think the Saints issues necessarily get solved by bringing in another receiver. I just don't see it. Like Sean Payton's always loved to spread the ball around. Like if you've ever had Saints receivers on your fantasy roster prior to Michael Thomas, you've had a nightmare, because one week they'd get no catches, the next week they'd go for $150 and 3 touchdowns. So I don't think they're worried about it. They're signing guys like Chris Hogan. You know what I mean? They're not offering.
They're signing guys like 7-Eleven. Look, you know what this also means? That Hard Knocks is right around the corner. I'm super excited. Love Hard Knocks. Although I hate that it's the Dallas Cowboys this year. But I do love me some Hard Knocks. That's where 7-Eleven came from, baby. What did he say back in the day in the Hard Knocks for us?
I think it was Reggie Bush that called him that, if I remember.
Oh, 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
Because he's always open. He's always open. I find it funny that, little players like that fall through the cracks. Another guy was Danny Amendola. For the last time the Dallas Cowboys were on Hard Knocks, he fell through their cracks and ended up being a big-time wide receiver in the NFL. I think that happens more than people think, and I'll find it very interesting. I think it'll happen a lot this year because there was no training camp or mini camps last year. And again, I have to keep repeating myself because I think it's going to play such a pivotal point in the league this year. There was no post-June 1st cuts. So there's going to be players on teams that are going to get cut or traded come week 2 or week 3 of preseason. And I think that that's going to also play an effect in the Dolphins locker room because maybe we see some guys leave our locker room to go. And the other thing is I also could see that I've said for the running back situation for our room, I don't think the running back that's going to make the biggest impact on our team is currently on the Dolphins roster right now. I think he's somewhere else, and I think the Dolphins are going to make some sort of move for a running back in this in this training camp.
So Steve, real quick, I want to touch on Sean down here. I'm actually a really big Anthony Miller fan, but I'm 90% sure he went to Houston, not the Saints. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. Steve, the problem with that, man, is like the reason that a running back that's not on the roster right now would be the one that makes the biggest impact of our season is because, let's face it, injuries. right? Like nobody we bring in is going to start all of a sudden over Gaskin or okay, thank you. I thought it was Houston, or sorry, it is Houston. Delusional Patriots fans telling me. Yeah, like I think if we have a bunch of injuries like last year and we have to go get another running back, like yeah, they're going to have that opportunity. And quite frankly, like we don't want to go down this rabbit hole again. We've talked about it a billion times. But we don't have anyone on our roster right now at the running back position that has proven to be not only very, very good, but also very, very healthy, right, for a long period of time together. So I hope not, but is this a possibility? Absolutely.
Look, we'll definitely have to see. Look who's also showing up to Dolphins training camp.
Oh, of course.
New man. He's
sandals to training camp.
Bro, he looks like bro, you're in South Florida, man. What do you think?
Come on, man.
It's not like he's out there on the field running routes and flip-flops.
No, bro, it's that hair that makes me nervous. We talked about this before. I don't understand why NFL teams allow players to have long hair like that. Like, it's part of your uniform. They can tackle you by pulling on your hair. It's a disadvantage.
Look, I'm not getting into that conversation. You're not getting me into that one. Because I remember it being a big deal with Ricky. Remember? Yeah. Ricky had the dreads, and that was a big deal. That was a
extra
big deal.
Padding for brain damage he sustained, man. We ran that kid into the ground.
Oh, look at this. This is speed wide receivers on Madden. Tyreek Hill, 99. Henry Ruggs, 98. Marquise Brown. Look who's down there at number 5.
Somebody picked this, and number one, I don't understand how Will Fuller isn't higher on that list. But someone checked this out for me because I couldn't find it when I was looking, but I heard a rumor that Jalen Waddle was the highest rated rookie in the new Madden.
I mean, he could be. It'll be very interesting. Yes, fastest rookie wide receiver.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, but
it'll be very, very interesting.
We'll know when it comes out. I mean, listen, I buy Madden every year, despite the fact that they haven't really put much new stuff into it. And we could do a long time.
Marino's GOAT said he's the third.
Okay. Who's number 1 and 2? I'm assuming Penei Sewell and Trevor Lawrence.
The Penei Sewell, is that you mean the guy that some people like you think we should have drafted?
Yeah, him.
That
generational left tackle out in Detroit.
Jalen Waddle's gonna ball for us this year. Don't think twice about it.
You're in Baltimore. Who was the Ravens' first pick?
It doesn't matter because they are horrible.
It does matter because he went to the Hall of Fame.
I look. I refuse to acknowledge that purple team that lives in my area. I refuse to. All right, so let's kind of talk about training camp. So first couple of days, 10:15 a.m. Coach Flo is going to be addressing the players. What is Coach Flo saying to these guys on the first day of training camp, man? Like, what do you think he's telling these guys?
He's saying, I don't care if you're wearing number 1, number 25, or you just found a jersey in the drawer when you got to camp today. You're all fighting for your jobs, every single one of you. And I want to see the hustle. I want to see you guys go out here and ball. I mean, like, realistically speaking, Tua, Austin Jackson, the big 3 receivers are kind of cemented as starters.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else, every position on that line, right? Like Kinley's going to be the left guard, we know it, but he's going to have to earn it, right? Center's up for grabs, right guard, right tackle, potentially tight end. You hear what I'm saying over here? There's a bunch of receiver spots. There's a bunch of running back spots. I mean, I just did the offense. Like on the other side, Byron and X, short of a great trade deal, probably ain't going anywhere. But Christian Wilkins got to earn his playing time. Raekwon Davis has to earn his playing time. Jerome Baker probably ain't going nowhere. McKinley just did a restructure. But every other position on that defense, you got to earn your spot. Brandon Jones, Eric Rowe, Javon Holland. Talking about you guys here. Like, who's going to play the nickel? Is it going to be McCourty, Justin Coleman? McCourty could end up being a cut after, you know what I mean? You were talking about the after the training camp cuts. But I don't see it. Like, I think that everyone out there needs to grind and fight for his job. Andrew Harris, as to your question, X is at training camp.
X is at training camp, my guy. He is there. He showed up. He's just there so he won't get fined. Basically, that's what that is. Yes, I'm going to be quoting the great Beast Mode. this morning, all morning. I'm just here so I won't get fined because I truly think that's why he's there.
That's
I don't think it's anything more than that. I think he's still pissed off. I still think he's disgruntled. And I'm very, I would, what do you think that, you know how like players walk in, they get to the table, they sign in. All right, Xavier Howard, I'm here for training camp, and you see Coach Flo and Greer probably behind the table, like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Haven't heard too much about you. How you been? Yeah, like I wonder how awkward that first, hey, what's going on, was between Greer and X. What do you think happened?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it's the whatever conversations going on are probably between Greer and X's agent. I mean, I don't even know if Greer's there today. That's not really his department. You know what I mean?
Well, look, one of the things that Reason keeps on bringing up is he's pissed that X is pissed that the Dolphins haven't even sat at the table with him. So, like, they haven't even said, hey, this is what our plan is. This is what we want to do. And I feel like Greer's a go-to guy. So I feel like Greer would call him up to the principal's office and say, hey, bro, look, this is what we're going to do. Okay? This is what we're going to do. What do you want to do? And I feel like that conversation should happen today. Like, there should be a real heart-to-heart conversation. And it should be professional, and it should be, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. This is the direction we're going to go in. How do you feel about that?
I'm an X's and O's guy, bro. I mean,
no pun intended.
For sure. Like the behind closed doors, the negotiations and all that stuff. Listen, there's a reason players have athletes. You know what I mean? Or players have athletes. Jeez, there's a reason players have agents, right? Dante Culpepper was his own agent. I need some water, man. I'm out of here. Dante Culpepper was his own agent, and a certain friend of ours that we lost, our boy Jay Villa, used to tell us stories about watching Dante Culpepper duck a landlord because he couldn't pay rent. Like, players play. Like, let the agents negotiate the deals. And if I'm X and Greer approaches me with that, that's what I say. Hey, listen, man, like, this is my department. I'm here on the field. I'm here to win. I'm here to shut down receivers. You got to figure that out with the agent. Like, this is what I prefer to do. Hopefully what X is saying is, I'm here to be the best player I can be, the best teammate I can be. And if something happens that puts me on another team, I'm going to do the same thing there. But hopefully he wants to do it in Miami. That's the vibe I got. He's not like these other players that, like, you've seen these players that was a Chandler Jones officially requested a trade. Like, I heard somebody talking about it in the box. These other players get on their social media and remove every piece of the team info and all the team colors and all that stuff. X has never did that. X worked out himself during this whole OTA period. Like, it wasn't like he was sitting on a couch being lazy, which is a problem we had with Devontae Parker in the past, right? Like, until something happens, X is a Dolphin, and that's how I'm going to treat the situation. We got an all-pro shutdown corner on our team.
Basically, he's here. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. And until
nothing really matters.
And until the motto changes, until the storyline changes, that's what it is. What do you think Emmanuel Ogbah is thinking today? Because that's another person that, hey, look, I want my money too. And what's up with you guys? You guys haven't, I feel like guys like Ogbah, Gesicki, I feel like those two guys right there are very interested to know where they sit in the organization and where they stand in the organization.
I'm interested to know where they sit in the organization, man. Here's the thing, like, and I was an Ogbah fan back in Cleveland when they drafted Denzel Ward. They talked about how, like, Ogbah was so good, him across from Myles Garrett, like, they're both going to get a boost because we're getting this young, good corner in there. When a lot of people thought they were going to address the pass rush in a different way. I like Ogbah, and Ogbah's played very well for us, but I think Ogbah's in another situation like Gesicki. I think he's in a stopgap type deal, and I don't see him having a long-term future with it, especially, like, God forbid, right? But let's say X does get traded, and we talked about before, one of the most likely teams is the Cardinals. I think that might bring Chandler Jones here as part of the deal. Mm-hmm. But with Jordan Phillips, we just brought in Shaquem Griffin, and we kicked tires on Melvin Ingram. Like, I think they're looking for another speed outside edge guy. And if they get one, that shows up well, I don't see us extending Emmanuel Ogbah next year. In fact, if Jordan Phillips steps on the field or Jalen Phillips. I'm sorry. Jordan Phillips is no longer a Dolphin. I said that I did this yesterday too. If Jalen Phillips steps on the field and
balls out,
balls out, yup, and or even just plays well but shows improvement, I don't see Agba being back here next year. And I don't like that. I'm not thrilled about that. We have the money, but if you bring in Chandler Jones, what is the hypothetical deal? I don't know if Arizona would do this. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at Jones's contract. I know he's getting up there in age, but I mean, if we got offered a first and X, it'd be hard to turn that down. I mean, maybe there'd be some picks in there later. Chandler Jones, I've always said this, letting Chandler Jones go was Bill Belichick's biggest mistake. Like, he didn't get a ton for him, and Chandler Jones has quietly been one of the best edge rushers in the league. I mean, before he left the Patriots, but even since he's left the Patriots, like, he's slowly climbing up the lists. He's been, not number one, but like number 5 or something like that every year in pressures and sacks and all this other stuff. Like, Chandler Jones is a baller, and he could fit that role I'm talking about here. I mean, maybe Emmanuel Agba is traded immediately if Chandler Jones was, I don't know. And I'm not saying Chandler Jones is coming in, and I would prefer to keep X. But that was the question it was asked, was theoretical trade.
Guys, I want to remind you, we got 60 people watching, only 30 likes. Hit that like button. I need 30 y'all right now that haven't hit that like button to smack it, tap it, whatever you got to do. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm not playing with y'all, okay? The other thing I want to remind everybody, too, is that the Miami Dolphins are doing their thing this morning on the first day of training camp. By everybody, it looks like everybody has reported. I don't see any names that are missing off of the call sheet. Nobody, they weren't like Bueller. Nobody, I don't think showed up. I mean, everybody showed up. Nobody, I think, is missing. So I think that's a good thing. I could be wrong about that. I mean, we're still early, but it doesn't look like anybody's holding out. It looks like everybody showed up to training camp, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal to have that on day one, right?
I mean, I like it. I think, again, part of the reason for that, right, is we have so many guys that are fighting for either a job in general, right, or the starting job. I think we can go back and talk about whatever I just said a couple minutes ago, but I think I came down with like 7 guys out of 22 starters, right, that are for sure probably cemented in their position. But everybody else is fighting for not only just a job, right, but also like how many snaps are you going to get? How many, like, are we going to use you just as third down pass rusher? Yeah, I was going to ask you. There's a lot of questions flying in here, man. If you want to grab some of these.
Hey guys, if you want to use the hashtag DolFan Chat, put that in there, and we'll try to get these questions answered. Use the hashtag DolFan Chat in the comment section. Make sure you're hitting that like button. And one last thing, if you guys want to donate to the channel, there's 3 different ways to do it. You guys can use that super chat, which is the money sign down at the bottom of your chat. You guys can also use Cash App, MSMpodcastNetwork, or you can use the PayPal, which is also MSMpodcastNetwork. So when you guys donate, it helps the channel grow. It's a big deal. Your donations go a long way. We got a lot of things we want to do, including a pregame show this year down at the stadium. And so, look, there are a lot of things we're trying to get involved with that, as well as other podcasts that are coming up. So trying to bring more video editing people, all that kind of stuff. So donate to the channel. It's a big deal. It helps the channel grow. And also, if you guys want to sign up to become a member today. Join now. We have a lot of exclusive content that we will be doing. You'll get early release to all new episodes. It's a big deal. So sign up to become a member today. All right. Enough about that. Let's get back to at hand. DolFan Chat, opinion, your top 4 defensive linemen. Go ahead, Wade.
I saw this question come in a couple times, and it's kind of hard to answer the way it's worded. Because, like, so for example, Duke in here wrote Agba and Phillips as 2 of them, but they're really going to play more of an outside linebacker role. I mean, Agba may have his hand down there a little more than I think Phillips is going to. I think Phillips is actually listed on the roster as an outside linebacker. But I think Wilkins and Raekwon Davis are going to be the top 2, obviously. I like Butler, and I think there's a reason we brought Butler in, especially for the run support. So I think he's going to see a lot of time on the line because, quite frankly,
I think Butler's going to be a big dominant factor this year for the Dolphins.
Yeah. Seidler is I like Seidler, right? Seidler works hard. Seidler can play really any of the spots on that front three, but I don't know if he's at a point yet where he can put it together consistently. He doesn't quite have the speed to chase people down. And he's not quite strong enough to like blow by a left tackle or anything like that either. So we used him in a lot of special situations, and look, it worked. I'm a fan of what we did with him last year. I would probably say those are going to be the top four in terms of the pure like D linemen. Agba's going to stand up a little bit, but Agba, while he's on the team, is going to be in the list. I think Jordan Phillips is going to be standing up most of the time. Jalen Phillips, I keep doing that. I think he's going to be standing up most of the time. Now, if we get a new coordinator and we switch to like a 3-4 or 4-3 scheme or something like that, maybe. But I think for now, he's going to be standing up most of the time. And don't forget, like, we brought in some run support at linebacker. I think we're really focused on shutting down that run because we know what our passing game, we know what our defense can do to a passing game.
100%. Hashtag Dolphins chat. Is there a video portion to Dolphins camp? Delusional Patriots fan wants to know, asking for a friend not named Bill Belichick. That's a good one. I'll give you that, Delusional Patriots fan. That's a good one. Touche, my friend. Touche. I believe Cap for Life says, I believe Phillips will be a hybrid like Jason Taylor was when he won Defensive Player of the Year. Look, I think Phillips is I think he'll be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year as well as Defensive Rookie of the Year. Would you agree with any of those statements for Jalen Phillips?
Well, the first thing I'll say is Taylor was really more of a 4-3 end. We used him as an outside linebacker when we moved to a 3-4, but like, don't forget, like Cameron Wake, his first year starting, had more sacks than Joey Porter and Jason Taylor combined the year before when they just came out of that 3-4. It wasn't really his design. Jay Taylor was really more of a 4-3 end. He's one of the best 4-3 ends ever. Do I think Phillips is going to be Defensive Player of the Year? No. Do I think he's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year? I think he could be in the running. So the problem with Defensive Player of the Year is nobody deserves it over Aaron Donald any year. But the problem with Defensive Rookie of the Year is you just happen to have Micah Parsons, who's, in my opinion, a generational linebacker. And then you have a couple really good corners I would have said Patrick Surtain Jr. He was the number one to me. J.C. Horn went off the board before him, but apparently everything coming out of Panthers camp is saying J.C. Horn is like blowing it up out there. But either way,
but we knew this. Like, he was rated on people's draft board as like the number one defensive player.
Which I don't understand. I don't see how he was better than Surtain, really at any level. And I definitely don't see how he's better than Micah Parsons. But what Carolina is doing with their defense is stunning. Like, most of their starters have either 1 or 2 years in the league, all drafted by Carolina, and they're all playing very. You got Derek Brown, Edor Gross-Matos, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin was a monster last year. Like, they're quietly building a very good young defense. Now they have Sam Darnold, so they're not going to be good, but they're quietly building a good young defense. But I don't know. I don't see a way that anybody wins Defensive Player of the Year over Aaron Donald unless he gets hurt. Phillips could be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think these other guys like Horn, Surtain, Micah Parsons, they're going to be day one starters that don't really come off the field at all. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to work Phillips in. I think he's going to be a situational pass rusher at first. So I think it's going to be very hard based on his snap count and the way we pull people on and off the field for him to win it.
Look, I'm interested to kind of see another storyline within training camp, and for me, that's the running backs. And I kind of touched on it earlier. Gaskins, Alvon or Ahmed, and some of those Malcolm Brown. I'll be very interested to see what happens in the running back room. And I guarantee you, I said, what do you think at 10:15? Coach Flo is going to say to the players, I'm pretty sure I know what the running backs coach is going to be saying to the running backs. Guys, who wants to play? Just do your thing and you'll get playing time. I'm pretty sure that's the conversation he's having with those running backs. You agree?
I like the way you worded it. I think something interesting to watch here specifically with the running back and the receiver room. There's a lot of this talk about like team guys and stuff like that. And look at guys like a Patrick Laird, for example. right? Like Patrick Laird's still on the roster. Jakeem Grant is still on the roster, got the extension. I know a lot of you guys don't like Jakeem Grant. Whereas a guy like Albert Wilson, Albert Hearns were guys that weren't on the team that long and opted out last year. Pay attention to that stuff. Like, we'll see based on who we keep going forward. You know, obviously that's not going to happen today. It'll be, a month from now. But if we really want to see, like, how stubborn are Greer and Flores with their guys, not just the guys that come in on big contracts, right? And we say, oh, well, you didn't perform your big contract, so you're gone. But some of these younger guys that they worked hard to keep, like, if they didn't want Patrick Laird on the team, he'd be gone. It's not like someone was going to poach him from the practice squad, right? And kind of the same thing with some of these other players we're talking about. I personally think, and I know I'm going to get this is about to blow up over here, Jakeem Grant is going to be on the 53-man roster. And I don't think Albert Wilson is. Now, it's more likely that Wilson is, I think, than that Grant isn't. Like, I think Grant is for sure on the roster.
I don't think Grant is on the roster. I think he gets traded.
For what? Grant's like, what, 30 almost?
I understand, but number one, he's a Pro Bowler at his position, a reigning Pro Bowler at his position, and he's one of the best returners in all of football. Nobody's going to deny that. And I don't think there's room for him on this roster. I don't. Not in that wide receiver room.
I don't see how, especially when we went out and said, and this is, you can go back and find the interview, but after the draft, we said, well, hey, you guys are talking about running backs. I don't think you might realize how much the speed we added with Fuller and Waddle is going to help the running game. Why would you cut? I don't know. Fuller may be a step faster.
Bold take. Waddle returns kicks this year.
Why is that a bold take? He's a great
because everybody thinks that a top 10 picks should not be returning kicks. And stupid. I said that's stupid. You have your best player returning kicks. Yeah, 100%. And Waddle's a better kick returner than Grant is.
You just said Grant is one of the best players in the league position. Waddle has never taken an NFL snap. That's not a fair comparison.
You call it what you want, bro. Like
I would rather have
Waddle
Grant on
is
kicks
fun
and Waddle on punts.
Well, look, I'm telling you right now, Grant. So you're going to keep Waddle for one thing? I mean, not Waddle. Grant for one thing?
No, I'm keeping Grant for his speed. I'm keeping Grant for the same reason we kept Grant.
So you're telling me what you're telling me? What I hear you saying, Wade, is that you think that he's top 7 wide receivers? He's in the top 7.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No
100%.
way. No.
So to be clear about this, you have a coach that openly talked about how much they wanted to add speed to the roster this year, right? The 2 speed receivers that you added are guys that, and I hope this doesn't happen, right, but have injury question marks, right? Why would you cut the guy that, and I don't know what this is, right? They're not running 40s together at the same day or anything like that, but Grant may even be still the fastest out of all of them. Like, I'm pretty sure his 40 time was original when they did it. Stills had not proven it. Stills was horrible. Kenny Stills was I go back and read everything I ever said when Kenny Stills was here. It was pretty horrific things I was saying about that person. But Kenny Stills sucked. I'm so glad we got rid of him. The best thing about Kenny Stills was we got rid of Donnell Ellerbe when we traded for him because the Donnell Ellerbe contract was absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, back to your question. Allen Hurns, I don't think anybody thinks make the roster. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody in this chat thing. There's some people that for some reason are in love with Kirk Merritt. I don't think him or Reuben Foster are legitimate threats. Ford, we've shown time and time again, can't stay on the roster, right? Whether it's getting demoted, whether it's getting traded, hey, I'm glad he's here, right? But he doesn't have a good track record. Like our big 3 for sure are going to be Parker, Waddle, Fuller. And you guys mentioned a potential Parker trade earlier. Well, if that happens, that's just all the more reason Grant would still be on the roster, although I don't think Parker's going anywhere. And legitimately, after the big 3, I don't see a better receiver on our roster than Jakeem Grant.
Bro, I think no way. No way. So here, I'm gonna break it down for you. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Waddle, Parker, Will Fuller,
Right.
Albert Wilson, Preston Williams. That's 5.
You know what? Let me jump in real quick. I'm sorry. So I forgot to mention Preston Williams. Preston will be on the roster for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Preston Williams. There's 5. Who am I forgetting at the moment? because I'm doing
Alan Hearns, Kirk Merritt, Malcolm Perry, Lynn Bowden.
Lynn Bowden. There's 6. Okay. And so now we're getting into the 7th and 8th, right? So that 7th, so that's where Jakeem Grant falls in, right there, 7 and 8. And the main reason you're keeping Grant is because of his returning skills, which you have in Lynn Bowden and also Waddle. There is no point in keeping Grant.
Well, you're
There's
keeping
none.
Grant for his speed. By the way, Grant's PFF grade last year was better than Albert Wilson's grade the year before.
That's fine because of injuries. That's it.
No, it has nothing to do with injuries.
I'm telling you right now,
PFF grades don't have anything to do with it.
There's no point in keeping Jakeem Grant. Like, there's
no point in keeping Albert Wilson.
Why?
Because Grant's a better player.
No, he's
I don't
not.
know why everyone's drooling over Albert Wilson. But Albert Wilson has never done the things for us that Jakeem Grant has. Jakeem Grant is more of a threat speed-wise. He's more of a threat in a return game. Everyone's drooling over Albert Wilson for some reason.
If you're in the chat box right now, I want to know. Hashtag DolFan Chat. Would you take Albert Wilson or Jakeem Grant? Albert Wilson or Jakeem Grant, and why? Use the hashtag DolFan Chat. Let's settle this debate with the fans. Let's go. Because I don't think there's a point in keeping Jakeem Grant. I think he, you get rid of his contract, you get a draft pick for him, and you free up some salary cap. Hello, have a nice day. I don't care if it's a 3rd or 4th rounder.
But none of those things are going to happen. Like, number one, no one's going to give that up. There's just too many.
I could totally see somebody giving up a 4th round draft pick for Jakeem Grant.
The league is too deep in receivers right now. You saw what Anthony Miller just got traded for, and Anthony Miller is a better receiver by far than both of the guys we're talking about. Grant, you talk about money. Grant's only making $4 million. We have like $66 million in cap space next year. Like, it's pennies on the dollar for what we're paying him. And I just looked this up. Jakeem Grant's only had 1 season in the last 4 years under a 70 PFF grade, and he's getting paid $4 million. That's a bargain. That's a steal.
Finn's Doc, Wilson, Estefan, bro, Albert Wilson all day. He can catch. Grant sucks. He's too timid. Marino's GOAT, Albert Wilson. Jabari, Albert Wilson. Miami Dolphins talk. I would keep Wilson and Grant. You only can pick one. Finn's fan panel. If Albert flashes as he did in 2019, bye-bye, Grant. By the way, Wilson is the type of wide receiver that
last
should fit
year was
Tua.
better than Albert Wilson was in 2019. This is what I'm saying. Like, the stats are there. Like, everyone keeps talking about 2019.
Wilson was the best Dolphin in his first year on our team. The Godfather says Grant is more valuable because he plays offense and special teams. I'll keep Grant over Wilson. You and the Godfather are so far. That's it. And maybe flip side. Fake Spike Wilson can catch. A wide receiver's job is to catch. Desmond says Wilson. Cap for Light says Wilson. I think the unanimous thing here is Albert Wilson.
What is this? Well, you guys keep saying he can catch. Like, his highest season with us was 43 catches.
Who?
Albert Wilson.
Okay, and Jakeem Grant drops balls like nobody's business.
Bro, Jakeem Grant had a rough season with drops last year for the first time as a Dolphin.
Do you can somebody remind me who dropped the pass in Seattle?
Kenny Stills.
Oh, it was Kenny Stills. Okay.
Yeah, Kenny Stills is hot garbage, and he had no place on this team. I am so glad. I was doing backflips the day we got rid of Kenny Stills. Listen, here's the thing, and I said this earlier. I'll say it again. I'm not saying Wilson can't make the 7. In fact, I think there's a chance he does. I think the one thing that would prevent him from doing so is the team clearly doesn't. They're not thrilled with him. I want to be very clear. If Wilson had not restructured his deal last year, he would not be on the team right now. He was set to make about $8 million, and he brought it down to under 2, I believe, and then he opted out for COVID. Like, if Wilson had not done that, he was going to be a cap casualty. Do I think he can make the 7? Yes. Do I think there's a much better chance Jakeem Grant makes the 7? Absolutely.
No way. Although Angel Ortiz and Mark Angelo are with you. I don't know how, but.
They like football.
All right. Well, look, we will agree to disagree. Next question. Let's talk about 2 players. Matt Collins and Kirk Merritt. Do these guys make the roster? And if so, how?
I don't think so.
I want them so bad too, but I don't.
I know
see it either.
you're a big Hollins fan.
I love Mac Hollins.
I mean,
love
listen,
Mac.
we brought him in the middle of the season because of injuries last year. Like the only reason he's on this team is because we were injury depleted. You know, I don't think so. I think they really like Bowden. They really like Perry. And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about Patrick Laird a little bit ago. Like, if those guys keep grinding, when you see them make the roster, you're going to know. Like, they're going to be those, like, Patriots-like guys that they're going to use in a bunch of different positions. They're never going to make a ton of money. They're never going to make the Pro Bowl, right? But they're going to get first downs. They're going to convert, short yards. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. And he's talking about Robert Foster right here. Reuben Foster, isn't it? I like him. I don't know if he makes his way onto the roster. I'll put it like this. I think Hollins, probably even Hearns at this point too. Kirk Merritt, and some of the other guys, I think they're all, in my mind, behind Isaiah Ford.
I mean, Isaiah Ford doesn't make this team. Let's get that straight.
So that tells you all you need to know about the rest of them.
Well, I mean, look, I think Merritt and Mack. Look, Mack can be a tight end, but I just don't see him in that room either because Hunter Long, you have Durham Smythe and Adam Shaheen who are better than Mack. But it's just tough because they're two young guys. And here's the other thing too. There's going to be guys that would be great practice squad players, but there's no way that they stay on a practice squad. Like they're going to get taken in somebody's 54-man roster. Like it's going to happen. And I think Kirk Merritt is one of those guys. I think another one is Scarlett.
Hey, did I miss just real quick, Steve? You said the 54-man roster. Did I miss that? Are they bumped up to 54 now?
I think they're adding one more player from what I remember. I could be wrong about that. If I am, somebody please let me know.
Gotcha.
But I'm pretty sure it is 54-man roster, not 53. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please call me out on it. But I think it is 54. All right. Well, look, let's talk about Hunter Long. Hunter Long signs his rookie deal yesterday. He's in the building. He's ready to go. Finn's fan panel. You guys are ignoring team value and special teams. Hollins and Foster will make the team.
I disagree. I think it's the exact opposite. I think that kind of just what I said about Perry and Bowden. Like, these guys are going to make the team and be used in different roles. Like, some of these running backs are going to be on special teams. Some of these guys in the secondary, like a Coleman or a Nick Needham that we bring with, they're going to be on special teams. All right, they're saying it's 53. They added 2 more practice squad players that can be
got it. Okay, all right.
But yeah, I think a lot of these younger linebackers we talked about.
Thanks, fan panel. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Williams could be treated. I think he's trying to say Williams could be traded. Williams could be traded. Like if someone was going to offer us something for Williams, I'd probably take it because at this point he's on the last year of his deal.
I feel like Preston Williams would be great trade for New Orleans. New Orleans would probably love to have a guy like Preston
You're
Williams.
Stuck on I'm sure they would. I mean, who wouldn't? When Preston Williams is on the field, he's dominant. The problem is he hasn't shown a single season he's been able to stay on the field. And I do think, not last year, but the year before, I think they kind of shut him down a little prematurely. But either way.
Hey, Finn's fan panel, can you come on? If yes, put it in the chat if you can come on. Because, I think you're bringing up some good points that I think would be a good discussion. Let me know. Hashtag DolFan Chat. Do you think we will be trading with New Orleans for White? I literally just said that.
Yeah, he's been talking about this for a little bit. I mean,
I think New Orleans is going to trade for somebody. All right, this is for Finn's fan panel. I'm not really opening up the lines, but I do want Finn's fan panel to come on. I think he brings up a good point. Because there are other things I do want to get to. So let's see here. Do you think so let me kind of answer that question while I wait for Finn's fans panel to get on. This is what I'll say. I'll say that New Orleans is going to trade with somebody. They're going to trade with somebody. It's going to happen. All right, guys. Larry has his own YouTube channel called Finn's Fans Panel. You guys need to check it out. It's a great YouTube. Go subscribe to his channel. Have not had him on yet. I am super excited to have him on. What's up, Larry? How's it going, brother?
Hey, dude. What's up?
What's going on, man? How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. Yes, it's starting. Finally.
I know.
Finally.
I know. I'm super excited about it, man.
I know, right? When's the last time we've been so excited about the Dolphins? And rightfully so.
Been a long time.
You know what, guys? Brother. I'm really disappointed people out there. I think they're suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, that everything from the Dolphins past is being applied to this Dolphin version of the Dolphin team. No, this is totally different, guys. Totally different way we're operating.
All right, Larry, you and Wade were kind of going back and forth. Just interested to kind of get your take on why you think Matt Collins is going to make this team because of special teams. Because you got to realize there's going to be somebody not making who's the man out if he's making it.
Right. First of all, I actually did a preliminary pre-camp prediction of the roster. Okay, the problem with all these receivers, you got to take it in context of the whole roster. Nothing is in itself. That's what the problem with Grant. If you don't cut Grant, who are you going to cut somewhere else in the roster? Okay, now
Matt Collins.
Okay, that's the point you're overlooking because you never stated it. You may realize this, but Matt Collins was brought in last year because he's a terrific gunner. Okay, and that he played that out as one of the best gunners in the NFL. So, in my opinion, he's not fighting for a return like you're stating. He's fighting for that gunner spot. And the only person I see giving competition in the wide receiving core for the gunner spot is Robert Foster, because that's what he did in Buffalo also. So I believe for that 7th spot is a special team spot. It's going to be between Hollins and Foster because of that gunner role. There's no other gunner.
That could happen, right? But so a couple things, right? So when I'm talking about these special teams, I'm not just talking about return man. I'm talking about guys that are going to play that position. Like I think Steven mentioned Perry and Bowden are return. Like they're not super fast.
Not Perry.
You know what I mean?
Bowden though.
Like, well, so here's where I'm going with this. Larry said it right. You only have so many spots, right? To me, Grant is not losing his spot for the 7th receiver. Grant, like I said, outside of the big 3 and Preston Williams, Grant is the next best receiver we have. So I'm not just talking about making special teams as a returner. Grant would be a returner because of his size and all. But these other guys I'm talking about, like I mentioned Patrick Laird, like he's going to be on the defensive side of special teams, right? Like when we kick off, they're going to be the ones coming downfield. Like a lot of these, I think Justin Coleman might end up doing something similar. Nick Needham should be on that team. Nick Needham should be on the hands team, right? If there's an onside, if there's a short kick. Like all these guys that are not named Tua, Xavier Howard, Devontae Parker, Austin Jackson, like the guys that aren't those guys, they are going to be asked to do multiple things to be on this roster. And I don't care if you're a receiver, a linebacker, a safety, a running back. I don't care. Like you're all going to have to play special teams. You're all going to have to be versatile. Like, hey, we have a package for Christian Wilkins. Hey, we have, Andrew Van Ginkel, who was an inside linebacker who we put on the edge to rush special teams, and look what he does. Like, you're going to have to do multiple things to make this roster at every position.
Oh, for sure. But gunner is a specialized position in special teams. Okay, it's like the quarterback. That's how important it is to special teams. It's like the quarterback of the special teams. So, yeah, Laird and all these guys as part of the 11-man kickoff team, yeah, you're going to have to double up on that for sure. But gunner is a specialty. So unless these guys like Nick Needham, and they've never been asked to do that before, comes out and show they could be top-notch gunners, I don't see that happening. It could happen, of course, because it's the NFL. But until that happens, no, it's between gunner. It's
so
Hollins and Foster.
Larry, if Mac makes this team, who's not making it? Is my question to you.
Grant, Foster's not making. Yeah, you're right. That's the question. That's why. And also, people are saying, "No, go 8 wide receiver." Okay. A lot of people also say go 4 tight ends. So you're going to use 12 positions between 2 positions, the wide receivers and the tight ends. That's what I'm saying. You got to look at the whole picture. It's not just the wide receiver core. I only think the Dolphins will go with 7. They're not going to go with 8 because they, unless they change philosophy where they like to use the 12 personnel, that tells you they may go with 4 tight ends. That may be there. But again,
so does Matt Collins make the team?
I believe so. Yeah.
Larry,
that's my prediction.
Do you think that 12 set and all this talk about tight ends? Do you think people are just kind of basing that off of what Chan Gailey was doing in his offense last year?
No, I agree with you, Wade. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the Dolphins are going to be knowing Flores, right, and this is something the people don't talk about it, I believe Flores prefers to run the football, not pass. So he's a defensive coach.
Wow.
So the part of why they ran with 12 had Flores' blessing. We'll see. We'll see what they do with their tight end. But as of right now, I don't see anything different. Look, they're still looking for more tight ends. I mean, what does that tell you?
Because we're going to trade Gesicki. That's what it tells me.
Oh, I believe that too. I think
it tells me Mike Gesicki will not finish this year on the roster.
By the way, all you guys out there, I don't know if this is controversial, but unless injuries happen like last year in the wide receiving course, no way Gesicki's going to have a big year. There's just too many mouths to feed in this team.
100%. I've actually went in this on depth. And I mean, and even last year, his big year was 701 yards.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like he was out there with a 1,200-yard season, 115 catches, anything like that. And a lot of these tight ends, and I like Gesicki. Like, it almost seems like I'm saying this wrong, like, because I'm a Gesicki fan. Mm-hmm. But look at what happened with Zach Ertz in Philly. He was good for 2 or 3 years. He wanted out of the team. No one was going to give up anything for him. He's still on the roster, and he's an afterthought. Like, you know, people forget he's in the league even. I think he had like 400 or 500 yards. I know there's an Eagles fan in here somewhere. Could correct me on that last year. Like, these guys, and you saw what Shaheen did last year. You saw what Smythe did last year. You saw us go get Hunter Long. You almost have to be delusional at this point if you think we added not only those guys, but all the weapons we did at receiver, and still somehow you think Gesicki's going to have this like 1,500-yard breakout.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, it's not physical. There's only 4 quarters in a game.
You know what? I think the team's going to be challenged if everybody stays healthy, basically, or at least most of them. Not necessarily everybody. We're so deep, most of them stay healthy. This team's going to be challenged to have a 1,000-yard receiver, and that includes Waddle again because Tua's not that. Go back to college. Not that kind of quarterback. He doesn't focus on, oh, that's my man, I'm going to throw the football to him.
I would agree to that, and the question I've been asked a lot is, does Waddle win Offensive Player Rookie of the Year? And I said he will have the biggest impact of any rookie in the NFL, but he will not have the stats to back it up because there is no way Tua feeds him the ball, 10 to 15 times a game.
Think about it, right? If Wilson makes the team, right, he's primarily going to be a slot receiver, right? So you got to feed him the ball. You got to feed Wilson the ball. You got to feed Bowden the ball. Again, just when it's a slot receiver, they're not going to depend on him playing all plays like that.
Which, by the way, Tua has again, to go to the Tua talk, he'll have no excuse this year for not succeeding. No. I just want to put that out there.
So real quick, I want to touch on what Larry said, but look, my man Sample down here, but Fitzpatrick hated Devontae Parker. If you look at Devontae Parker's production, even in his 1,200-yard year, it was all when Fitzpatrick either wasn't on the field or when every other receiver was hurt. For whatever reason, Fitzpatrick just refused to throw the ball to Devontae, and I think it's because Devontae is not good at separation. He's the best at catching the ball when he's covered, but being the turnover machine Fitz is, I think he was scared to go in that direction.
Well, Tua might have the same problem with him.
No, not last year.
Yeah, Wade, you mean Tua, right? You said Fitz.
No, Fitz. No, I mean Fitz.
Oh, Fitz?
If you look at Fitz's 1,200-yard year, it was when Josh Rosen was in. It was when he was getting most of his big games. Tua likes to not throw into coverage, but Tua isn't a turnover machine. But to what you guys talked about, right, we're talking about guys like Grant and Wilson. We already kind of agreed, right? Your number one targets are going to be Parker, Waddle, Fuller, potentially Gesicki if he's still here. You're going to throw to Myles Gaskin all the time. You have these other tight ends that are going to be fighting for roster spots. I think this is all the more reason Grant makes the team over Wilson is because that element of speed is something you lose if you get hurt one of the guys ahead of you. But also when he's on the field, he does something different that, Wilson's that slot guy. Bowden can be that slot guy. Perry can be that slot guy. Grant can stretch the field with his speed and then open it up for the other people. Like, if you truly believe Flores wants to run first, which I wish we were that team with the power.
I do think that we're gonna run the ball 30 to 35 times a game.
Yeah.
So Flores is on record as saying the way he's going to fix the run game is with these speedy receivers stretching the field and taking players out of the box.
Well, we already
so why would you get rid of one of your fastest guys?
So it's redundant. And the other thing too, quite frankly, I disagree. I thought Matt Collins was far more effective than Grant during the course of the year. And that's the other reason why I think he has the leg up, because for your seventh receiver, if that's in a pinch and an emergency, he comes in and he contributes as a wide receiver. Yeah, it's hard pressed to find a better number 7 receiver. Yeah.
You mean on special teams or as a receiver?
No, as a receiver when he was pitched into service.
So Hollins, and I pulled this up earlier. His receiver grade last year was pretty awful.
Yeah, but he was also the seventh receiver on the team.
Yeah,
that offensive
Well,
line.
I hear you, but I'm just saying Grant's was significantly better than his last year.
Yeah, but look, and by the way, I don't think that's an issue. I don't think you can take that into account because if you look at Gesicki's considered a top 10 tight end in the league, arguably, and he played 20% of his snaps from tight end, 29% of his snaps. Yeah,
no tight end. No, he's right, tight end.
Yeah, so
Gesicki primarily played in the slot last year.
No, 80% was either in X or Y receiver with Gesicki, but not as an inline tight or slot, but not as an inline tight end. Only 29% as a pure inline tight end.
Well, this is why he's going to be gone, man. The guy can't block.
We all agree on that. Yeah. If they could find a suitable. Remember, guys.
I think there's going to be plenty of suitors in this.
Yeah, but it's what can return. If we don't get better, at least a third round pick or better, we're better off holding on to him, let it go in free agency, and get that third round pick.
There you go, Steven. Gesicki traded to the Saints. There you go.
Yeah. No. Hey, look. I think
conference.
I think New Orleans is going to be a very good trade partner and involved in a lot of trade talks here going in the future. All right, let me ask you something about that tight end group. Adam Shaheen and Durham Smythe, Larry. Like, where do you see those two guys on this team? And if Gesicki does get traded, that obviously makes room for Mack, is what you're saying, correct?
Right. Okay. Look, it's simple. To me, the Smythe situation depends on Gesicki and on Long. If Hunter Long comes in training camp, it can do us good. Balls out, especially as a blocking tight end. That's what Smythe is here for. Then Smythe is in trouble either way. So
you think? I think if we trade Gesicki, we keep him anyway.
No, if we trade Gesicki, then we probably keep them. Remember, guys, we also have Ethan Carter as well. And so in that tight end group. So it depends how many. Again, it depends. If we go to 12 personnel, I think because only one of these tight ends will be gone. But I don't think either way. I don't think both, but it's a possibility. Remember, this is a roster spot that's loaded. You want that eighth wide receiver, then you're going to keep 3 tight ends. Type deal.
Let me ask you both a question. When we're watching preseason this year, we're going to see a lot of playing time from Jacoby Brissett with a lot of these guys that we're talking about. And I'm not talking about Jacoby Brissett per se, but I am talking about judging these guys. How as a fan do you tell other fans to be able to assess these players when the player that's going to be throwing them the ball or running the offense isn't going to be in much in this preseason? Like, is it going to be fair to be able to judge and assess these guys with maybe the number 2 team?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, listen, these are NFL players, right? Like, say what you will. It ain't about the guy that's behind him. It's about the guy that's in front of him, right? Especially you're talking about a tight end, right? Like, I don't care who the quarterback is. Like, that tight end's ability to block the guy in front of him, that tight end's ability to run the route, to get separation from the guy that's near him, to, throw the block downfield when another receiver catches the ball, to, go up and try to get the ball, even if it isn't the best throw, right? Like, you can see all those things. Now, obviously, if Brissett's throwing a ball 50 yards over a guy's head, right, we're not going to hold the guy accountable for the catch, but the catch is by no means the only part of that play, right? How did you get off the line, right? How did you find a hole in the zone? How did you create separation between your guy? How did you, level the linebacker in front of you or hold the block for a couple extra seconds so that running back could get downfield? Like, there's a lot more to it than just, what the stats show, right? That's one of the reasons I talk about PFF so much, right? It's because I love that they grade those players on everything, right? It's not just the stat line, but, for some of these guys, and it's like I said this about Raekwon Davis last year, you can see, at least that I don't know if everybody can, but you can see when there's somebody that's just that much better than the people that are around him. And I said the second Devon Godshaw got hurt, Godshaw's done. He's not going to be back with the Dolphins. Raekwon's taking his job. And hopefully we see some of that this year. I mean, there were a lot of people that think they saw that in OTAs from Noah Igbenogany. Now, that could have just been a cover storyline because there was no X, but we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, these guys earn their spot. I want to be very clear. It's not like, they got lucky and someone pulled their name out of a hat or something like that. They go out there and they're better than the other guys every play.
Right. Now, Wade hit it right on the nose. This, football is a team sport, but within it is an individual battle. And that's what the coaches always assess. when even after regular season games, it's how did you do individually? Did you win your battles? Are you part of the solution, not part of the problem? And yeah, you damn right, because if you can't beat a second teamer, there's no way you're going to beat a first teamer. So yeah, they look at that individually. Yeah, so Durham Smythe or whoever, Cynthia Carter, if you can't beat out a second team, can't do your job in the second team, you're not going to be in this roster. Period.
All right, let me ask you guys another question from a defensive standpoint. That linebacker locker room, or that linebacker room. What do you guys think that's going to look like come the end of training camp? Who are the guys that are going to be, making that third, fourth, and fifth, spot, or fifth, sixth, and sixth spots in the linebacking room?
I don't know.
Well, right off the bat, I predicted Landon Roberts is going on the PUP list. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing I hear about him that says he's going to be ready by the start of the season. So I think the battle's going to be between Iguavin and who's the back? Will be the backup inside linebacker?
Vince Beagle?
Scarlett? No, or Vince Beagle. Yeah. The inside linebacker is going to be between Riley and Griffith. Duke Riley and Griffith. The Griffin, Shaquille Griffin.
Well, Griffin's going to play outside, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The outside battle between those two, right? Because they're both not only outside linebackers, they're also special teams maven. So when we brought in Griffin, that's who's going to compete directly with against Duke Riley. So it'll be interesting to see. The starters are set in stone. The so-called starter, Wade is right, because whoever we're going to play, he's may change. But the basic core starter is already set. There's no question about that. So this is a battle between the backups right now.
The way I'm looking at this, I see Baker for sure, right? We all know that. McKinley for sure. We all know that. I think Scarlett probably starts inside next to McKinley, and I think Duke Riley definitely makes a team. I mean, I think he could play any spot in the linebacking core, and again, like talking to special teams, you're right. He's a special teams monster. Jalen Phillips is obviously going to be on the team. And he is officially listed as linebacker, and so is Andrew Van Ginkel, and I think the same thing there. So the odd man out here, I mean, Griffin, I think we're going to keep a couple of these outside linebackers around just as situational pass rushers, and I think that includes Griffin, Van Ginkel. Obviously, we brought in Jordan Phillips for that. I want to say Vince Beagle makes the team.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I really do. Like, he's had the injuries and stuff like that, but he's quietly played well for us, when he was on the field. But at the same time, he's also 28 years old and hasn't put together a healthy season. I think Iguavin could be a bubble guy.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you there.
I don't think Keelan Johnson makes it, and I don't think Calvin Munson makes it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the guy that Iguavin's going to fight with, Calvin Munson, because he's our other inside linebacker also. So those two will fight it out basically for a roster spot. That's the way I see it.
All right. Hey, TD Finstock, I'm talking to him live. He's at training camp right now.
Awesome.
So I'm trying to get him to call in. I'm trying to work on that at the moment. So bear with me if you guys want to talk real quick while I see if I can get him on.
There ain't no service in that new building, man. They got some anti-Belichick equipment in that mall.
He actually just texted me. He says, I don't think they're going to allow the use of devices in here.
Yeah. They're not even supposed to be open to the public.
Oh, by the way, I'll be attending the live scrimmage with Atlanta on the 18th and 19th. I'm going to be in Miami. So I'm going to take first-hand view.
So that means you're going to be calling in on the morning show that morning.
Yeah, if it doesn't cost me too much, I gotta take my telephone. I'm only kidding. Yeah, if you want me to. No, actually, right. The scrimmage is scheduled to start at 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I could.
Hey, Tony, what's going on, man?
Hey, I have a question for the three of you. Actually, this has to do with the defense and the specifically the linebacker position. Since we have so many linebackers on the roster, do you guys think eventually, with how Flores is with innovating the defense, do you think he's going to start using a 4-2-5 defense, like something similar to the 4-2-5 defense you see the Hurricanes using in college, where having a striker position, one of the linebackers or safeties play a striker position, and then having three the standard safety and defensive backs?
Hey, Tony, thanks for calling in, bro.
I personally don't think so, and the reason is I really like what we did on the D line, but it's built for that 3-4 crush the line from the inside thing. We don't necessarily have a lot of like speed guys up front. You know, Agba, you could maybe say kind of fits that role, but I think the more D linemen we have on the field, the less we get, you know, into the backfield on those passing plays. Like, we're designed to kind of crush the pocket from the middle and then use some of these guys as edge rushers. So, like, in terms of like dropping a safety in the box, this could be where a guy like Eric Rowe or Brandon Jones is valuable. Someone dropped a comment in here about Shaquem Griffin can kind of work, you know, all over the place in that sub package too. Like, Eric Rowe, you know, has kind of made a name for himself tackling. Like, he can't cover for. I've been very critical of Eric Rowe. Y'all notice, and Brandon Jones, you know, we'll see what happens. I would love for him to step his game up, but so far he just looks like a younger version of Eric Rowe. So I could definitely find, you know, some spots where they maybe drop him in the box and then maybe put McCourty on the field in that safety position across from hopefully like Javon Holland, you know, with our corners, and have some coverage stuff in there. I just I think Flores, like you said, with the flexibility and all, I think you're going to see what needs to be on the field to match up with what the offense is putting on the field. I don't think it's necessarily about a specific. It's not like this Buddy Ryan, you know, bear scheme back in the day, or, you know, the Wade Phillips. You can only line up in a 3-4. And I mean, you saw that last year. You know, we moved players around, we moved schemes around, we did crazy stuff. So as long as they're not trying to put a guy like Noah in the nickel spot where it doesn't make any sense, like, I'm just going to try to keep my mouth shut and hopefully, you know, this all works out. But I think that a big part of what makes our defense good is a part of what made New England good for all these years, and that's pulling players on and off the field, letting players get rest, not just leaving somebody out there and saying, you know, you're going to be there the whole drive, right? Like, getting these fresh guys ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with most of what Wade said. I do believe, though, with Holland, one of the reasons they love Holland, they envision him what they were supposed to do with Inga Fitzpatrick. So, being that he'd be up there in the line of scrimmage, he'll be rushing the passer. He'll be de facto another linebacker in a 5 or a 6 dime set. Okay, so yeah, you can see where they go with 2 linebackers. Now, one thing about people overlook about McKinney, yes, he's not a great coverage linebacker, but he's a very solid pass rushing linebacker. So one of the better inside linebackers for rushing the pass that's overlooked. That's where he probably stay in on passing downs, because it gives you that threat that could also rush the passer. That's the difference between him and Raekwon McMillan. Because people tell me, oh, Raekwon McMillan was supposedly great on run defense as well. No, that was all the McMillan. He was a one-trick pony. Okay, Bendrick McKinney is not a one-trick pony. He's outstanding at stopping the run. Yes,
he's going to be one of the best linebackers in the league this year.
Yeah, possibly if he's used the way I think he would be used, and it's up to him. It's up to him. So, hey, yeah, Tony's right. We go with a 2 linebacker set and the so-called stinger. But that's only in my opinion, not only being a 3rd and long situation, basically. It's as part of a sub package, not necessarily a regular defense.
All right, I want to bring in another caller. Walter, man, sorry for leaving you backstage, bro. How's it going, man?
Doing good this morning. Thank you for showing the love.
Hey, man, what's your question, bro?
No, I don't really have a question. I was just talking about you know, the linebackers and the defensive line, who's going to be on the roster, who's not going to be on the roster.
Go ahead, man. The floor is yours for a couple of minutes, man. The floor is yours.
And then you guys were talking about the wide receiver room, you know. As terms as the linebackers, Jerome Baker is going to be on the team. Vince Mingo is going to be on the team. Sam McGuarvin is going to be fighting a little bit. Shaquille Griffin is going to be on the team. The Johnson guy is going to obviously be fighting for that practice squad. McKinnon is going to have a good season, just like what you just mentioned. Calvin, obviously fighting a little bit for a job. Phillips is going to have a job. Riley's going to have a job, but just maybe by the skin of his teeth and maybe numbers game. But he might not have a job, but he might have a job. Elandon Roberts, somebody mentioned he might be on the PUP list because of that knee injury. But, you know, he might have a job. Scarlett's going to have a job. And Vince Binkle, Andrew Van Winkle, he's going to have a job.
Larry, your thoughts on Walter's list?
Okay, Vince Beagle there is a little bit of a wild card with Beagle, okay? How healthy, how far back physically has he come back from his injury? Okay, because we haven't seen him play. So but if he's like 95%, he's in. Okay, like he's a Flores player, right? Do your job.
100%.
Okay, do your job. He's in. But if he's not healthy, I could see him being another pup candidate or even being cut. Again, we're talking about, it's tough, guys. We're talking about, but there are a lot of good young players. That's why I'm saying hold your horses on wide receiver. Let's talk about the D line as well. DN, you got a Tyshawn Render, you got a Jason Strawbridge. All these kids may be in the bubble.
I'm a big Strowbridge guy. For those of you that are sleeping on Strowbridge, Strowbridge is going to play a very similar role, in my opinion, to what Jordan Phillips is going to do. And I keep doing that. I keep doing it.
I know. You did it before, and I didn't want to
even wakes me up. No, I corrected myself. I've been doing it for 3 days. I don't know what's going on. I can tell you all a story off air about Jordan Phillips and why he's not on the roster anymore, but I don't think it's appropriate for the website. But anyway, like Strowbridge could very easily be that guy that takes a step forward. And like when we talked about like kicking tires on dudes like Melvin Ingram and bringing in Shaquem Griffin and all that stuff, that kind of tells me that he hasn't done it yet. But something else to think about is, like you mentioned, Elon Roberts. If you go back and watch the game footage from how we used Elon Roberts played in that hybrid safety spot in a lot of snaps last year. And if you look at what Miami did at linebacker this year, I think it's very clear they were focused on one thing, and it's stopping the run in the box, right? And that's something Beagle can do. And the reason, we had such a hard time with it last year is because Beagle didn't play last year. Right, we didn't have him for the entire season. So when you look at bringing back Elon Roberts, that was what Roberts was good at, flying up in the box last year. Right, you look at bringing in McKinney, Pro Bowl inside run stopping linebacker. Even Brennan's not anywhere near on the level McKinley is, in my opinion. But like you're right, Raekwon Davis or Raekwon McMillan, I was a huge fan. The dude couldn't cover to save his life. It's not that he wasn't good at it. It was that he was horrific at it. He was graded out as one of, if not the best, run-stopping linebacker in the league, sure. But when you can only be on the field for 2 downs, that doesn't help us. You know what I mean? So Roberts, Beagle, and I disagree with you, man. I think Riley's on this roster. Riley's on this roster for the same reason Jesse Davis is on this roster. It's that he can play any position we ask him to. Now, Jesse Davis can't play them well, but he can play them.
Yeah, personally, I don't know much about Duke Riley other than what I read, so I'm not going to debate that. But I'm just pointing out that's where the battle's going to be. In terms of that position, okay? So, yeah, Griffin is going to compete against Duke Riley. And stop this love affair with Griffin. There's a reason he's only a minimum wage player. He's limited in what he can do. He doesn't have this. Apparently, the league doesn't think that he's got this overall fantastic potential to be outstanding, or else he would have been signed by somebody else for a lot more money.
Oh, I agree. He's a role player. He's a situational role player.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is, by the way, we have a team full of those.
Yep.
That's how you win.
Mm-hmm. That's
be prepared for each situation.
With Jakeem Grant, but the value to the team may be keeping one of those role players over Jakeem Grant. See, I have to get a little jab at you, Wade.
Well, I'm not. And hey, listen, to be very clear, like I'm not in love with Jakeem Grant. I think for some reason, like he had a down year last year for the first time in all the years he's been on the team. Like he had the drop issue, and like everyone kind of turned on him. Like in my opinion, the reason he makes the team is because he's a role player. He's the guy that can stretch the field. He's the guy that can step in if there's a speed injury. He's the guy that can do, the end arounds and all that wonderful crap. There's no world where Jakeem Grant's 1,000-yard number one receiver. Like I want to be very clear. And you know what else? There's no world where that happens with Matt Collins or Albert Wilson or Malcolm Perry or any other guys we're talking about either.
All right, Walter, man, you can if you have another question or final thoughts, man, go ahead, and I'm gonna let you go because I want to bring in more people.
Okay, Jakeem Grant at $4.5 million. It wouldn't be good money management to have Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant time is Miami. He came. He signed a little bit of an extension. It was a small extension, but
go ahead, Wade. I see you in there. Wade's about to lose his mind. What you saying, that Walter?
Come on, man.
I don't understand all these economists. Where were you guys at when we were paying Brandon Albert all this crazy money, and we were dumping all this money into it? Now all of a sudden everyone's mad at
that. You don't include being that.
Well, I'm just now all of a sudden everyone's mad at everyone was thrilled with Eric Flowers, but they're mad about what we're paying Devontae Parker and Jakeem Grant.
They're not. It's just Jakeem Grant. There's no there is no money. There's no room on this roster for Jakeem Grant. None.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's not here.
Especially if they use Waddle on punt returns, then, hey, Please.
They can
You're
get
not going to keep
Waddle
two.
should be up.
Yeah,
Waddle should
if
be
they
up.
use, I think Grant's gone for sure. And they should. I agree with you. I don't understand why people don't understand it. First of all, you know what? It's the natural bias against special teams. Okay, throughout the league, most coaches only play lip service about special teams. The Dolphins don't. Okay,
not last year. We didn't.
No,
What we did
the
on
reason
special
we
teams
won
last
10
year.
games was as much as the special teams
100%.
as the defense.
100%.
They don't, and that's where the value is with Waddle. That's where I'm going to put him. Okay, that's where he's going to contribute help, especially since we got a loaded wide receiver core, meaning he's not going to get as much touches as we would normally as any other normal team. That way, we get him more touches in special teams.
Yeah.
All
right.
By the way, guys, value of a contract. I've been one of the few. And I think some of you people originally, I was one of the few that lambasted the Dolphins for signing X originally, okay, because of his chronic knee problems, because he never really played a full season. So, yeah, I think that I criticized the Dolphins that they overpaid. I criticized them for Sue. I criticized them for Flowers somewhat because they were gambling on Flowers like they gambled on X. And that's the point I'm making. People say, well, they should pay because he played exceeded contract. No, the Dolphins been gambling just like they're gambling on Baker. There's no way Baker was a $36 million.
He's not. But I want to state this for the record. I love the Baker signing because of that.
100%.
Me too.
Because if Baker balls out, which we all predict he's probably going to, maybe not all of us, but I believe he will, then this contract is pretty much a way for the Dolphins saying to him, hey, we believe in you. We're going to pay you now. And when you ball out, don't come asking for another payday. That's exactly what
they did with Howard.
Yeah.
Now, Howard's
good. But hang on, guys. I need to understand this with this Baker thing. Because everyone keeps talking about it like we gave him a lot of money. We didn't give him a lot of money.
He's not
He's
worth the contract we gave him based off the production
he was the
given us.
16th highest paid linebacker after that deal.
He's not worth the production. He's not proven the production off what we're paying him.
What did just sign for? That deal that just got signed?
System, though. Jerome Baker is in a system where at his position, he can be attackful at that position in Florida's defense. There's other positions where you pay on that defense. Xavier Howard's cornerback position, you have to pay. That left end position, you have to pay. What people don't realize, Byron Jones, the team didn't have to go out and pay for Byron Jones. Because if you actually thought about it, if X came back and they paid X, they can trade Byron. In my honest opinion, they should Byron Jones could be traded. Sue Cravens or the rookie last year, what is it? Igbenogany. He could have man down that other position, have X being man to man, and the scheme.
Well,
Byron Jones was
let's get something straight. Byron was shut down. Byron didn't allow anything his way either.
Well, Byron
is not an alpha male though. There's an alpha male. Byron is do my job. X is 10 picks, 20 defensive pass. Like I am here. I am in the league. Byron's in the league too now. I'm not knocking that. However, bro, he had guys like
listen, Walter. Listen, we've talked about this on here a couple times. You know, in my opinion, the corner position, pay them. Like that's what New England did for years, and their defense took them to championships. But I've also been very vocal on here that Byron Jones did. Yes, that's what they did. New England's done that historically. So here's the thing: I was very vocal about this. Byron Jones, but we're not though. This is the thing, and this is why I get so pissed off. We have $66 million in cap room next year. We're the fourth largest in cap space next year. We're not hurting for money.
A lot of one-year deals because you have a lot of one-year deals. Keep that in mind too.
Who's on a one-year deal that we plan on keeping next year? Who's not under contract that we're going to keep next year? That's an important starter right now.
Emmanuel Ogbah.
Possibly.
We talked about what's probably going to happen with him, and I've been very clear on this show that if Brandon, Gesicki's going to be gone regardless.
I know,
but I've been very clear on the show. If Byron Jones does not step his game up this year, then he's probably not going to be a Dolphin. Because as much as I was a fan of the Byron Jones signing, he did not play up to his contract last year. And I'm willing to give him your injury.
Because you know what? I'm tired of you guys. Did he pay up to being the number one corner in the NFL that a lot of people expected when No, he didn't. But God damn it, he was still top 10.
I don't know he wasn't.
Yeah, he's good.
He was top 10. Name me more than 9 better cornerbacks than Byron Jones last year. He was top 10 also.
Byron Jones PFF last year was a 63.
Right.
Yeah.
63.
I'm not knocking.
What? I'm sorry?
That's not a good starter.
Good corner, bro.
I'm sorry, wait, I didn't hear
The
you.
Dolphins
I said
in
Byron
Miami
Jones.
Dolphins
You're not throwing
2021.
PFF at me, are you?
Yeah, I am. It was 63
Byron
last
was
year.
a splash
And that was, and
signing.
by the way, that
Wait.
was in the games he played. He missed 3 games.
Wait.
If you want to give me a list of corners that were better last year,
Wait.
Denzel Ward, Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I hear you, Larry. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. PFF is a borderline joke. Okay, look, the concept of PFF is a wonderful concept. Obviously, you don't know me. I'm a business person. I deal with numbers all the time. Numbers can lie. You know what? What PFF's problem is?
Numbers don't lie. Men and women lie, Larry.
Yeah, they take the numbers and do whatever they want. Let me tell you what the problem with PFF is, okay? There's a variable in that you cannot account for. That's the human input of how they grade it, okay?
Mhm.
And that's why you get some really
it's the system.
Okay, so is it useful as a tool? Yes. You know why I use PFF to confirm
Hey, real quick. This breaking news. Preston Williams, not official yet, but looks like he's going on the PUP list.
Okay,
Jesus
but there's
Christ.
wait a minute. There's the training camp pup list. There's the pup list for the whole year. So it's
No, that dude needs practice.
yeah, he does.
He needs the weight room. He
Hey,
needs
wait!
the
In my show,
Preston
I predicted right.
Williams,
One of my
Allen
controversial
Hurns are the
prediction
Dolphins'
is
number one wide receiver trait checks. Preston
yeah. My number
Williams,
one
Allen
prediction is that the Miami Dolphins is going to do a New England tact. Even if he's fully healthy by the start of training camp, I see them
shut him
starting
down.
Preston Williams in the pup list. You know why? Because the pup list is not as penal as it used to be because they're bringing this back the rule last year. You have a three game pup list as well as the 6 or 8 game pup
Yeah, when
list.
it was 6 only, it was rough.
Yeah, it
Well, the
was
other
more
thing is,
penal.
too,
So if he's close to being ready, he could start the season on the pup list. And so, that way, so Greg could make the team temporarily. Just point that out to you.
well,
So
remember this too, though, Larry. So
Yeah.
here's the other thing. Will Fuller is still suspended for the first game.
Right.
Right now, I don't hate the idea of starting Preston Williams on the PUP list because we have that super late bye week. So if we could keep him healthy for a couple more games at the start of the season, there's a chance he actually finishes the year with us. And he's another guy, man. Like I would love to find him a deal, kind of like we did with Grant. Where we keep him around for a couple years cheap, but just with his injury history and all that, I don't know if the team's going to be willing to pay. But that might factor in as a positive for us, or he could come out and completely ball this year, and then we got to let him walk because we're not going to pay him. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But.
Yeah, that injury history, I don't think is as bad as people make out because remember, there's football injury, there's non-football injury. That injury happened last year was not football injury. That's Christian Wilkins falling on his foot.
Right.
Come on.
Well, I said too. I think
Liam,
he got him down too early in 2019.
Hold on. Eschenberg signed. Dolphins entire draft class is signed, and everybody on the entire roster showed up.
That's what I'm talking about. That's Ross, baby. That's Ross.
That's interesting. Why they took so long to sign these players? Doesn't seem. Some people suggested it was a cap purpose. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Here's an interesting thought, real quick, right? And just because Steven's throwing news out here, so I think it was last week we had to hear all these Deshaun Watson rumors again. And please don't, I don't want to start a conversation about that crap. However, I read something this morning that said they are going forward with criminal charges, and apparently there's a couple ladies that are plaintiffs listed on the criminal charges that did not even file civil suits.
Yeah, that part I heard. I only heard they were going ahead with it. That's a different story.
Now, of course, these are like breaking reports, so who knows, right? They could be wrong.
Yeah,
It could be
right.
right.
You gotta be
interesting
careful.
to think about. Like,
yeah,
with
Walter.
all this going on with Deshaun Watson, people are saying he's worth 3 firsts, this, that, and the third. Bro, with all this going on with Deshaun Watson's barely worth a first round, second round, fourth round pick. You have to understand, bro.
No, I don't want Deshaun Watson on this team. And I'm sorry, we're
not doing Deshaun Watson talk.
I started by saying, please, let's not do Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he's
talk.
not. Yeah,
It's my
bottom
fault.
line is
Deshaun Watson talk this morning.
Ray Rice, Deshaun Watson. If you're pretty much saying this, you're
Hang on.
Deshaun Watson.
There's a marketable difference there. Ray Rice was already on the ending edge of a
his career.
He averaged
and
3.9
he
yards
was
carries
caught on
last
camera
year in the
doing
league.
what he did.
Right,
You're not
Watson.
getting away
Plus,
with that.
being a man that
Very
I am,
different
plus a big difference between being a sex addict and a wife beater or a woman beater.
With 21 different women,
Maybe
though,
Rice's
it's
girls
pretty
just
much
liked it
legal
rougher
right now.
than Deshaun.
Hey,
don't go that way.
we're not going there, bro.
Hopefully, Fasani 5's not there. I'm
Wait,
sorry, Fasani.
come on, bro. You're killing me, Smalls. You are killing me.
With 21
This is why I'm only on once a week, everybody. This is
being on camera. 21 different allegations.
Look,
It's pretty
Walter, I gotta let you go, man. You getting Wade all wound up. Walter, thanks for coming on, bro. Peace. All right.
We're gonna start the day. We're gonna start the day.
Real quick. It looked like Flores met with the media ahead of training camp this morning. Big news. Couple things. Preston Williams on the PUP list. That is official. And the other thing it looks like is, according to what I'm reading through here, Liam Eschenberg is signed. Every Miami Dolphins player on the roster present and accounted for on day one of training camp. And third thing, it looks like X is here to compete. Words from Flores in the press conference. Like, any thoughts, Larry, Wade? Just your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah, so training camp started. This is what it should be. This is what it's going to be. This is the type of ship Flores runs. I said ship like the boat. I'm being edited on it. This is what we wanted to see. We can all go back to bed now. Like it's yes, as it should be.
Yeah. And, by the way, I'm not surprised almost every player that wants a new contract is reporting to camp. That new agreement makes it real penal. And people overlook the fact, I have people in my show say, the team will forgive it. No, you're overlooking the fact that now it's mandatory. Teams have no choice. If a player's fined $50,000, they're not going to get away from that. They cannot negotiate that away and saying, like in the past, I missed most of camp and you're fining me. If I'm going to waive that fine. That's not happening. So the rarest of rare exception, maybe one of those players that is already multimillionaire and had their big contracts in the past. The days, I think, for the most part, the days of players holding out of camp is over.
We haven't had, outside of Le'Veon Bell, have we had any legitimate holdouts in over a decade? I mean, the last guy I even remember besides Bell, like skipping training camp, was like Steven Jackson when he was still with the Rams. Like, it's been, under the new CBA rules, you're going to lose too much money, especially for these guys that want to make money. And I mean, we're talking about practice.
Real quick, another big story out of the NFL is obviously vaccination, and the NFL coming out with their rule that if you are not 85% vaccinated, your entire team, and there's a breakout, that you could forfeit a game. So when asked what his message is to unvaccinated players, Flores says, and I quote, this is what Flores says: "Let's follow protocols, do everything we can to allow ourselves the opportunity to meet, walk through, practice, and string good days together."
I know, that's typical Flores.
He's so good. He's so good at sidestepping.
Yep.
So good at sidestepping.
By the way, they don't follow the science NFL, right? We see that Frank Reich was the one that's quarantined because he got the virus. No, he's not going to get sick. He's not from it. They don't understand the virus. For a coach, not necessarily has to quarantine himself. Wear a mask, because that's what mask does, is prevents you from spreading it. Correct. And just keep that 6. But he should be able to partake. He shouldn't be quarantined. That's kind of annoying on my part. A player's different because they got to go out there and play without a mask or something like that. But it's kind of annoying in my part that he has to. And it doesn't matter to me. But the problem, Mike, is that he got vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and they're still making him quarantine. I don't know if that actually, I shouldn't say that.
Here's something else from Flores. This is a quote from the press conference that just ended. "We're excited to work with X and all the players that are here. The conversations with X representation and Chris and myself will be confidential and internal."
Good. That's called.
I want you guys to realize something. He said Chris, myself, and X's representation. I've said, I hope all you Dolph fans are listening, Ross ain't got SH you know what to do with nothing. And Flores and Greer are a package. When anything gets done, it's them together as a unit, as
As
a
it
team.
should be. Yep.
And I'm telling you right now, there are people that think other things are going on, but that is not the case, okay? Flores, I'm telling you, when Flores says something, take it to the bank. Flores and Greer are making the decisions for this team. Nobody else is putting their hands in that honeypot. Trust me. Not
As
happening.
it should be. Guys, I've been watching football since the late 60s, right? One thing I learned, the successful teams have the general manager and the coaches that work hand in hand. Okay. So as it should be, because whoever Greer brings in, Flores has to coach. So Flores should have a say, but make no mistake about it. A properly run team, Greer has the final say, not Flores, because that came up with the issue with Flores wanting Herbert. And I say, of course, that's business as normal. In the draft day, he said, hey, what would you like Tua Herbert? Well, apparently he liked Herbert, and Ross, we all know, loves Tua, and Greer says, I like Tua too, and they chose Tua. Does that mean there's a rift between them? No, absolutely not. Greer's paid to know these more intimately than what Flores is. He's a coach. He has enough work handling his own team. But Flores has an opinion. He said he liked Herbert a little bit better. And for some reason out there, because he probably stated that opinion, all of a sudden he's anti-Tua. Really? Hey, I like Jalen Ramsey better than Stephen Gilmore. They went with Stephen Gilmore. Am I going to bitch about having Stephen Gilmore on my team? Hell no. But I would have preferred Jalen Ramsey. I'm making a point here. Yeah. How do you equate Flores liking Herbert on draft day a little better than Tua, and automatically equating that Flores doesn't like Tua? I don't get that.
I mean, look, I think fans will reach for anything to try to make that connection. You know that better than most people.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh, I hear somebody.
Hey, we can barely hear you, Wade.
Oh, sorry. I said, yeah, man. Hey, listen, a lot of them probably didn't even see the actual interview. Like, a lot of them probably just heard it and parroted it. You know what I mean? And they hear a stupid another article that says Tua's like it's really crazy how people can take something and run with it. And I said, Stephen, earlier, I'm watching this comment box, and it really stuck. You know, I think we touched on this a little bit.
Hey, Pete, I'm dropping the link in here for you, Pete, if you want to get in and talk with Larry.
But Joe,
you better be quick. I gotta leave in about another. I can stay on until 11 o'clock.
We've been on 2 hours already, man.
All right, hey, just so you know, a couple of other things. Preston Williams is going to start the year on PUP, as I've already stated. Flores' quote is he's doing a good job on his rehab and working his way back.
Steve, let me break that down real quick for these guys that don't understand how that works. So the physically unable to perform list is a little different than the injury report. So essentially, a player will get if they start the year on that list, which we're nowhere near there, so don't worry about that yet. But they can be shut down for a predetermined amount of time. I think, and Larry, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it's either 3, 6, or 8 weeks now.
Exactly.
That they do it.
Yeah.
So how do they determine the 3, 6, and 8 weeks? Do you know that?
Severity of the injury.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before it was automatic. That's what a problem. That's why a lot of injured players were carried for a couple of weeks before. If you were on the PUP list, it was a minimum of 6 weeks. So if a player scheduled to return within that period, that's why a lot of teams weren't using the PUP list as often as they could have.
Right.
Now with the 3, I could see a Patriot situation, a Belichick situation.
Jesus.
A lot of teams, like the Dolphins, I'm not saying they will. We got too many good wide receivers. Let's put a couple of them on the PUP list and protect against injuries in the beginning of the year type deal. That, you know what? It's not the way the rule was intended for, but that's a smart use of the rule for a team that has loaded with talent.
And again, we're talking about training camp right now, so we're not saying that he's going to start the season on this list. Like, it's a very different thing during training camp. But just know that, like everyone's saying, bye Preston. If he starts the year on that list, he's not going to get cut. There'd be an injury settlement type deal. But this doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be ready for the start of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's why I'm kind of upset. I went to Twitter and Salguero, even Jackson, just says he's starting on PUP. He doesn't specify what kind of PUP, because there is, quote unquote, a training camp PUP, meaning they're not ready to participate fully in training camp. But at any point in time, there's no limit when they call it back if it's on training camp. So let's say a couple of weeks from now, he's ready to participate full activity. They can take him off that PUP list. So that's a lot of players on that training camp PUP list across the NFL. So that's why I was asking, okay, because if they automatically put him on PUP, then that's an injury is a lot more serious than they're letting
They
on.
said pads are going to start on Tuesday too.
Yeah.
So they'll be in pads starting on Tuesday. Larry, I will. I don't want to hold you up if you can't stay, but I am interested to know what are your thoughts. What should fans expect this next week? Like, what are the things you want to hear from players that like columnists and beat reporters that are, what are things you want to hear when they're observing practice and they're twittering it out? What are some key phrases, players, things you want to hear to have a positive influence on a fan?
Yeah, simply stop this Tua talk. I want to know. I'm just as interested in these other battles that are going on because ultimately they have a big say in how successful we are this year. Okay, I am interested in the battles for those backup linebacker slot. I'm interested in the wide receiver and the tight end. Okay, yeah, I love Tua and I want to hear about Tua, how great he's doing, but don't leave out the other positions.
I love it.
Okay,
I agree, Larry.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear 6 interceptions.
Let me say this about the Tua
first day
thing
of
real quick,
OTAs.
right? You're going to hear a lot of stuff on both sides. Everybody and their grandmother has an opinion. I would leave it alone. What I want to see, and this will tell you all you need to know, is look at how the O-line's doing. Because we know how good our D-line is, right? So in these camp battles, if the O-line can hold their own, that's going to be a very positive sign. And also, we know how talented Tua is. We need to know if he's going to be able to stand upright to play the position.
Definitely.
Right? So these O-line battles, like, that's what I would tell the casual fan to pay attention to the most.
Right, especially in the center spot, because that's where everybody's concerned at. I'm personally not as concerned about it as a lot of people are because I trust Greer and Flores. Okay, I personally put out there, I think they went into this offseason with the mind that I think Dieter is the number one center coming into this year. I think they're made up their mind. It's his turn. This is the NFL. That's what everybody seems to overlook. This is the NFL across the board. At a certain point, young players, teams have to make their decision on young players. Is this their time? So I think that signing Matt Skura as much as insurance as anything else, and backup, because Matt Skura, guys, I cannot believe the Dolphins are going to risk a important part of position on a player that's not proven to be 100% healthy, because that's what was part of his problem last year. He wasn't healthy last year, Skura, and then he had the yips on top of that. So I just don't. And again, he's a minimum wage, so it's not apparently the Dolphins don't think much of Skura. Potential there, but he can ball out and he's competition. But I think right now, personally, I think the Dolphins have Dieter going in as their number one set, or it could be Cameron Tom because we don't know anything about him personally.
I think either way, we're looking at drafting a center next year. I think we had a shot at Cesar Ruiz. We took Austin Jackson.
Yeah.
I think Landon Dickerson could have been potential. The Eagles drafted him kind of early. There's a kid out of Iowa, and I apologize, I forget his name. That looks like
something. Yeah.
No, there's a kid that's going to be in the draft this year.
Oh, okay.
Who's out of Iowa, who's like going to be the number one center, most likely. Just look for, in my opinion, there's really 3 positions that we haven't addressed, and that's strong safety, running back, and center. Like, look for that to be, what we go after in the season, after the season. But
I have my take on running back. I believe the Dolphins are comfortable with what they have, but this is a big but. This is something people take as a negative. No, it's a positive. Every team is constantly looking to upgrade and to
get better.
They're comfortable. In my opinion, they're comfortable. That the facts prove me out because they didn't draft a running back until the 7th round. They're comfortable with the stable they're going in with. Okay, and however, that doesn't mean if something pops out and they get a great opportunity to upgrade that position, they won't do it. Of course, that's what teams should be doing, constantly upgrading themselves. It's the same situation with the Watson Tua thing. Okay, I don't want to get into it, but the fact was, if it's the right price, Watson would have been an upgrade right off the bat over Tua, but it had to be the right price. I was never in the camp of what people were talking about giving up.
Watson's a great player, but if he's losing his mind with girls in Houston, imagine how he'd act on South Beach, brother.
Yeah, no. You know what, guys? In fairness to Watson, he's just a sex.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, we better not see him at Tootsie's. Better not see him at Tootsie's. That's all I got to say.
Y'all better make sure you don't see me either.
Oh, we can see him at Tootsie's. No, Steven, we can see him at Tootsie's, but we better not see him going into.
Hey, look, man. Hey, great. Oh, I think that is a Miami staple that everybody should have to go to at least once. That's just me. That's all I'm saying.
If you don't know what we're talking about, after a Dolphins game, if you stay downstairs, Tootsie's has $100 bottles. It's the best deal in Miami. You can't beat
We've done a few post games there. It's been fun. All right, let me ask you one last thing. That's not really Dolphins related. Aaron Rodgers showed up to training camp. Are you guys surprised? Because I am.
No, not with the restructure on that deal. I think he got what he wanted.
I thought that was a marriage that was broken. I didn't think there was any repairing it.
Well, they bowed out to him. They redid the deal. Next year's going to be his last year with the Packers. He's getting out like he wanted. I mean, the dude's coming off of one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen a quarterback have. And look, the team is not ready to play this year without him. Like, they did not go into, the offseason building to not play with Rodgers. But in Miami it is, son. Sorry, I'm talking to the comments. But yeah,
you saw SoFlo's comment.
In Miami,
$100 bottles is not a good deal.
But
in Miami, it is son, on a Sunday night.
Bottle, not no plastic squirt, like real. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, like Green Bay is going to look very different next year. We'll see. Like, are they going to ride with Jordan Love? But don't forget, Devontae Adams is also kind of all over the place when it comes to contract talks too. So we don't know what Green Bay is going to look like for sure. But I mean, the real question would be: is Rodgers going to play the year after this year, and if so, where? But
yeah, either way didn't surprise me.
Well, he's not going to be on Jeopardy. I know that now. All right, hey Larry, promote your channel, bro. Promote your channel.
Guys out there, I have a YouTube channel called Finn's Fan Panel, and it's a legit panel show. I have no guests. Okay, I don't say, hey, I'm having Steven on. No, Steven come on, but that's part of the group. You guys, okay, you're the stars in my show. You come on, we just hang out and talk Dolphin football. And usually the only time that's for sure is I have a BYOB, Bring Your Own Bottle, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. every Saturday. Of course, now except for when they have your training exhibition games. Yeah, so Bring Your Own Bottle Saturday. And during the season, I have a Monday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. in the afternoon show. So Steven's got the morning covered. I got the afternoon cover. Reason, DDW. Well, DDW is not a live show.
But
TD.
They got the evenings.
Yeah, they got the evenings. So you got Dolphin Talk. Yeah, one of the media.
I tell people all the time, bro, like we have, like, if you really think about it, we got, like, you can get 24 hours of content.
Yes, you can. Hey, literally, one time my show went till 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday.
So you take a little bit of a nap. You wake up at 8:30. You do my morning show. There you go.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, I'm too old for that. No, what happened that day is funny. Actually, the guys were so heavy to conversation, had a full panel. It was already like 11:45, and I was getting tired. So I said, you know what, guys? If you want, I'll leave it on because StreamYard, you can stay open for 24 hours. I'll leave it on for you guys. So I went to sleep and I woke up in the middle around 3:00 in the morning. There was still a couple of guys out there. Man.
Hey, that's the best part of your channel, bro. That's the best part of your channel. Larry, real quick, before I let you go, I got somebody who wants to ask a question in the back room. I'm going to let him ask, and then I'll get you off here, all right?
Sure. I'm on a rush. 11 o'clock's my deadline. Hey, Estefan, what's up?
Estefan.
What's up? Good morning. Good morning. I want to say something real quick, Steve. Bro, you got to acknowledge the U.S. women's national soccer team, bro, for advancing to the knockout stage. They did something this morning. You didn't report on it, bro. Come on.
That last game meant nothing. The fact that it didn't matter, they were already advancing. It's not news. They need to win. They need to win gold. If they don't win gold, it's a failure.
I can tell you can understand international soccer. Let me break it down to you. They lost the first game, bro. They won the second game. They had to either draw or win. And if you don't score enough points, you don't go through the knockout stage. So they were potentially going to be eliminated. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Oh, also shout out to Duda Santos and that Brazilian volleyball team. Damn, they're fire, bro. Anyways.
That's the thing, giving us our morning roundup on
Tokyo. You know what my take of the Olympics is, Estefan?
What's up?
Greg Popovich is through being a great coach. You guys who don't know, Estefan's a big San Antonio Spurs fan.
Hey, bro,
Spurs suck. That's all I got to say. Spurs suck.
Hey, man, all I'm gonna say is that Heat logo that you wore on that hat the other day looked like a turd bucket. I don't know what the hell that was. And I don't gotta listen to this crap, bro. We know we're kings.
I don't have to deal with
we
this.
know we're kings, bro.
I don't have to be treated like this.
No. It ain't even like that, bro. We're on a whole nother level, bro. Y'all ain't even on our level.
Hey, Wade's a Sixers fan, so it's all good.
That's what's up, man. At least he got some sense, bro. At least he got some sense. Instead of, maybe Wade just don't like them McDonald's colors that y'all be wearing, and then y'all try to spiffy it up. Y'all try to go from Joe Dirt to Joe Dirte with those Miami Vice. What are they? Light blue and pink jerseys? Get out of here, man.
I understood that reference.
So, anyways,
all right. What do you want to ask Estefan?
All right, bro. So Preston's on this pub list, right? Yesterday he tweeted an emoji with the one with the zipper on the mouth, bro. So he tweeted that he's on the pub list. I'm starting to wonder. I mean, is this dude potentially a trade piece, and they don't want him to get hurt because
are you talking about Preston Williams?
Injury?
I heard Thomas.
No, Preston Williams. Preston Williams tweeted out yesterday just the emoji of the face with the zipper across the mouth, pretty much saying, "I'm gonna shut up."
First of all, if you're over 4 years old, let's stop with the emoji crap. Like, you're a grown man. Say what you want to say. Like, this is not. It's ridiculous enough that we're talking like, what they put on Twitter instead. Like, just speak up. You have a camera. You have a mouth. Like, use the. One of my favorite things that happened this all season, Devin Bush from the Steelers was yelling about like, if you're grown up and you have TikTok, like, I don't want to be around you. He's my new favorite linebacker just for saying that. Like, Preston, we talked about this a little bit, Estefan. I don't know if you were here. Like, I think for sure Preston could be a trade piece, and I think it's strictly because I don't know if there's a plan to resign him, man. And if so, like, why not get something for him while he's gone? You know what I mean? Like,
look at all these wide recievers. You know what I mean?
100%.
Well, put him on the pup list is not going to make him tradable. Most because that's telling the NFL that he's going to fail their physical at this
But if he comes off before training camp's over,
yeah, he become tradable. Yep. I could see that. I think more likely it's Devontae Parker, but definitely I could see Preston Williams because you got it right. He's very cheap contract, so he's great for this year's cap salary, but he's a total. Well, I don't know. Do they have the exclusive rights next year for him? I don't think so. That's undrafted free agents, not draft license. Yeah. No, they don't. I just answered my own question. That's for undrafted free agents that they hold, not for draft picks. Yeah, he'd be a free agent.
Preston was undrafted, wasn't he?
No. Oh yeah,
Preston was undrafted.
So back in play. Yeah, so they'll always have that exclusive rights free agent tag for Preston. So
yeah, but I don't think.
Hey guys, breaking news out of college football. Texas and Oklahoma are formally requesting to join the SEC.
That's not good.
Super conferences. I said this 3 years ago. I said there would be 4 major super conferences in college football. Nobody wanted to believe me.
Well,
nobody wanted to believe me.
Steve, you're about to see a huge change over the next decade in college football, especially with all these lawsuits, the way they're coming in.
2 to 3 years, bro.
Yeah,
next 2 to 3 years.
Well, I don't think there's going to be stability for a long time. Like, I think it's going to take a decade for them to figure out the system they're going to use, because not only do you have the money thing coming into play, but now you have like, okay, if
players
the schools,
being able to make money.
Right. So now if the schools are going to lose money on that, the schools are going to find a new way to capitalize. And I mean, we're talking TV deals, we're talking online deals. You're going to see these guys signing stuff with like Amazon and Netflix and all that to stream live game. Like, it's going to be different, man.
They're going for it's all about the dollars. They're gonna try to make more money. They already talked about expanding. You know what I mean? This playoff. So you're gonna potentially have like a 3-loss SEC team making this playoff to act and be, and potentially win. Well, they're gonna have to with 3 losses.
They're gonna have to revamp all of college football's playoff 100%. System because it's not fair to have the SEC have 3 teams. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? So you're going to have to revamp college football's playoff. That's one. Number 2, if we have 4 16-team conferences, like it's pretty. Like I really think basically what you're going to get is every super conference is going to get a person into the college football playoff, and then you'll get 2 wild cards, which can be anybody in the country.
I just want to put it out there. This is another reason why this is the only country in the world that takes college sports even remotely seriously. Like, nowhere else does this for a reason.
I feel like it's probably the only country in the world that even has college sports. Look at all the foreigners that come
It's
here.
a billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a money thing. It ain't about putting people in a position to succeed or the best talent or whatever.
When COVID happened and the NCAA basketball tournament didn't happen, like to me, that's when I knew A, shit was serious, but B, it was like, holy cow, they canceled the #1 moneymaker in all of sports television. College football March Madness makes billions with a B, billions of dollars.
Yeah, I just don't get, I'm not intimate with that situation there. I don't get what's the overall benefit for Oklahoma and Texas to go there. Let me point out to you, I understand it probably money-wise there's an issue there, but hear me out, right? You're going into the real money comes when you're champion, right? You're going into a conference that's so tough.
Right.
Okay.
Texas can't compete there.
Making it more difficult to get to that championship game. And as Steven pointed out, there's going to be a handful of super conferences. So obviously SEC is one of them, but you're already in the Big 12, right? And to me, and this goes hand in hand in the geographical area. They're in a hotbed of football in Texas, right? They're always going to be able to draw down the super talent from the Texas area, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area. So why wouldn't they want to be the big? It goes to the question: are you going to be a big fish in an ocean or a big fish in a pond? And especially if you're going to go to a super conference, why would you make the effort to make your conference a super conference instead of going to one that's already established? Because really, right now, in my mind, and I'm not big on this, so I'm talking out of my mouth here, and I'm just talking. You guys, maybe help me, educate me. There's only one really super conference right now, and that's the SEC. Okay, the ACC.
Look,
now, there could be quality teams, but I'm talking super conferences, where you got legitimate teams that in other conferences probably be their conference champions, like Florida and
Kevin hit the nail on the head. Kevin said it's not about making the playoffs for Texas; it's about keeping the revenue coming in. Got to remember how did basketball, how did the NBA make their money? Television rights deals. Same way with baseball. You think the Yankees are a $1 billion team because of the Yankees?
No, it's organized crime.
But yes is because the Yes Network. The Yes Network is what keeps that money.
It helps. No, but that's the point I'm looking at it, right?
Pushback, because it's like what Larry was talking about earlier. When you had A&M join the SEC, the A&M, Texas was wiping the floor with A&M. And then they went to the SEC. They were actually competitive. They actually compete with Alabama almost every year. It's not an easy out. Missouri went over there. If you have Texas and Oklahoma come over, Texas is going to start getting some of those recruits that they gave away to Missouri and A&M going into the SEC. They started getting recruits because they joined the SEC. So Texas is going to start getting some of those recruits back because they're like, hey, we get to go play in the SEC, the best conference. So I don't know about that. I think immediately they're going to be able to beat teams like Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi State. The teams and those teams aren't pushovers, but I'm telling you, man, Texas and Oklahoma are going to beat those teams, man.
Well,
that just leaves, a potential like showdown with Alabama, possibly Florida, and Georgia. I mean, I don't know, man. Texas beat Georgia in a bowl game 2 years ago. So I mean, and Georgia competes very well in the SEC. I mean, I'm just saying, man, they're not as much of a pushover as you think they're going to be because their defense is always good, man.
Well, I don't want to get into. I'm just talking about the conference, super conference. No, to me, Texas is in a unique position, right? And Oklahoma too. These are big name college programs, and even with Texas not playing particularly well, they're still big name college programs, right? They go in there and make their own. Instead of taking the easy way out to say, okay, I can make a lot of money going. They could probably make a lot more money if, like they said, scare money don't make money. They take their money and build their conference into a super conference. Not every team's going to go to the SEC.
Here's a dumb question though. Does this make the Big Ten that much more relevant? Like, because outside of the SEC and the ACC, I mean, they're going to be one of the last like other conferences that has a good football. I mean, look at like how many draft picks this year came out of Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa. And I'm a Nebraska fan. They didn't really do much this year in the draft, but like, are they now like the third biggest conference behind the SEC and the ACC? With
probably,
I would say
yeah.
So. Pac-12 has been down the last few years. Yeah, I'm not a big college football, but even I know the Pac-12 has been down quite a bit.
That is a conference where you see your offensive linemen, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
That's why
they're
you
all
watch.
corn-fed kids, man. Iowa, Nebraska.
My wife makes the joke that if we ever draft offensive linemen, they need to be 350-pound guys from Alabama, Oklahoma.
I literally said 4 minutes
Nebraska.
ago, Tanner from Iowa's coming out.
Okay, guys.
All right, hey, real quick. I
gotta get ready for my dog.
I gotta let Larry go. Larry, man, one more time, promote your channel, tell everybody where they can find you, and get out of here, my guy.
Thank you for letting me come on. Even though I don't come on, I always listen to you. I have my little wireless. I'm working around the house, yard. Guys, my channel is called FinFans with FANS panel. It's on YouTube. It's a paddle show. You want to come on, you come on board. We do exactly what we're doing, talking Dolphin. Every once in a while, we stray away from Dolphin football talk because we are fans getting together. That's the concept of the show. Only set time for sure is usually Saturdays at 7:30. We bring your own bottle. Usually the football season, Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. or whatever news breaks in the NFL. Guys, I want to thank you for letting me on. Everybody stay safe.
Love you, brother. Be good.
Be good, guys.
Larry, real quick, Larry. Last thing, man.
He's gone.
Hey,
He's
Larry,
gone.
Larry left, Esther. Larry left,
I'm calling you out, bro.
Larry
he
left.
bro.
He left.
Yeah, I'll holler at you. I'll catch Larry.
Wait, since we're
one last thing for you. Your final thoughts.
What's up?
Your final thoughts, man.
Damn, man. I'm just glad that training camp's finally here, bro. I can't wait to see what TD and Insanity got up their sleeves for us, man. Because we listen to all these beat writers, bro, and there might be some bias with these guys or them trying to get clicks. So you know what I mean? I want to hear from them. I want to see what they're going to tell me. So I mean, I don't know how much access they have. So
it'll be interesting. And I'm pretty excited that they're there and hopefully we get some good information from them. Esther, I appreciate you coming on, brother. Love you, man. Thank you for
what's up, man. Love y'all too. Peace.
Peace. And then there were two. All right, my guy. This was fun today.
For sure. Steve, I'm gonna plug something real quick if I can. So
no,
we're
you can't plug anything.
I can just talk louder than Steve and you got
okay, there you go. Go ahead.
All right. So hey, for those of you that actually come to games and tailgate and stuff like that, y'all probably know I'm usually drunk, but you've probably met me, and my sister's usually with me. So she's actually getting married this week, and we're flying for Mexico tomorrow. And she's raising the future Dolphin, right? He's 1 year old right now. He's going to get
your nephew
season ticket seat pretty soon here. Yeah, my little nephew, Kingston. So they're getting married this weekend. If y'all want to celebrate with us, we're going to be in Mexico, but they got a website set up, sassowedding.com, I guess.
Put that in the link. Drop that in the chat.
I'm gonna drop it. It's SASSO wedding.com. They're not doing wedding gifts. They're just doing like a fund to pay for their trip. So if anybody wants to give them anything, of course, donate here too, right? Do the like channel, do all that wonderful stuff. But if y'all want to do something for another fellow Dolphins fan, a celebrating Dolphin, I'm gonna call it. Which team will be the worst in the NFL this year? The Houston Texans, followed by the New York Jets. The Texans, just the fact of the matter is Bill O'Brien decimated that team. I say the Jets are going to be the worst team in the league last year, and a lot of people didn't believe me. They ended up being second. But the Texans are they're going to be historically bad. And of course, the sun even shines on a dog's ass some days, for those of you that know what the white man can't jump reference. But they're going to be bad. Like the Jaguars are going to take a step forward. The Browns are an actual playoff contender. Like those two sentences are real in 2021. The Jaguars are taking a step forward and the Browns are a legit playoff contender. Crazy, right? Falcons will be bad. There'll be a handful of the teams that are always there, the usual suspects, but Jets, Texans for sure.
Who's your Kaiser Soze of your football teams this year?
Well, as you know, the greatest.
Because you said the usual suspects, so that's just
convincing the world he didn't exist. You know what I mean? So here's the thing.
I love that movie. You're gonna make me go rewatch that today.
It's great. So okay. So Jinx, my boy Josh down here just said it, and I wildly disagree. I think the Lions are going to be surprisingly solid.
Hey, mark my words.
Dan Campbell.
I don't know if they make the playoffs,
but
they're going to be in the playoff hunt.
I don't think the Lions are ready to make the playoffs. What I do think is that you give them 2 years, and I think Dan Campbell is going to take that team to a place they haven't seen in a long time. And a big part of that is having 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years, but also look at how well they drafted this year. Penei Sewell, best player in the draft. Levi Onwuzurike, arguably the best defensive tackle in the draft in the second round. They added Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe, who apparently is already bulking up. He'll probably end up being their number one receiver. But the combination of that offense and defense, I think they're going to play like Tony Sperano's team when he was here that first year. I don't think they're anywhere near 10-win team, not even probably a 500 team this year, but I definitely don't think they're going to be a worse team. Mm-hmm. And as long as they spend those draft picks wisely the next year or two, especially when they have a bunch of cap space freeing up next year, I think they're going to build a good team. But I think they're going to be better this year than most people think.
All right, guys. I want to remind you a few house notes before we wrap up the show with our final thoughts. If you can please help the channel grow, you can donate. You can donate 3 different ways. You can donate through the super chat, which is the money sign down at the bottom. Any donation helps. Look, if all 40 of you right now donated $1, that would go helping a long way to trying to do what we're trying to accomplish here at Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. So your donations definitely help. It's going to be good there. Next thing, if you don't want to donate through the YouTube Live Super Chat, but you want to donate, we also have the Cash App, $ MSM Podcast Network, as well as the PayPal MSM Podcast Network. So make sure you guys can donate those couple ways. If you are not a member of the channel already, sign up to become a member now. Join now. New YouTube membership for the Miami Sports Music YouTube page. We have a lot of amazing content, a lot of new stuff that's coming out. And so when you guys donate or when you guys sign up, you get access to members only chats, Dolphin roundtables exclusively for you, and early access to shows like What Would Shula Do or Dolph Freaky or whatever. So it's definitely a big deal there. Shout out to Angel. Angel with the $10 donation. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate it, brother.
What up, Angel, bro? Hey, Steve, I got to jump in real quick. Just one more thing before we go. I'm seeing these comments over here. The Redskins are a sleeper. Fitzpatrick's going to take. The Redskins are not a sleeper. The Redskins won the division last year, and they got significantly better, and they are going to the playoffs in spite of Fitzpatrick. They got a kid named Terry McLaurin on that offense who will be the best receiver in the NFL, and they got a damn good defense. They ain't no sleeper. They're going.
The other thing I want to say before we get out of here is a couple of other things. Tonight, where are my Spanish-speaking people at? If you speak a little Spanish, put it in the chat box right now. Interested to know, because tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, U.S., Hellfins will be making the second episode. It'll be a live episode. You'll be able to interact with it. Hellfins, Spanish-speaking podcast. Miami Dolphins podcast that's specifically dedicated to Spanish-speaking Dolphin fans. So it's really, really cool. It's made by 3 amazing gentlemen from the Dolphins Nation Mexico fan club, Armand, Chochos, and Paris. All those are great guys. Paris is in the chat box right now. What's up, Paris? How are you, brother? So make sure you guys go check him out tonight, 9 p.m. right here on Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. So make sure you guys do that and you guys donate. All right. And then also next week, Let me pull this back up. Great show, fellas. Angel Ortiz, Fire and Ice Combat Sports next Thursday. Got a great lineup. Tune in. Angel Ortiz MMA at MSM Fire and Ice Combat Sports Podcast. Clock Blockers. Guys, we are going to have a full show for combat sports on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. We're trying to do a lot of amazing things again. So when you guys donate, it definitely helps. So donate to the channel. It definitely helps the channel grow. And any other thing you got there before? What are your final thoughts of the day, man, with training camp starting and everything?
Number one, I'm hyped to have Angel on here. You know, Angel, me and him don't know each other that well, but I know we're very like-minded guys. Our boy Ali DolFan brought us together for a couple conversations. So I'm hyped for that. You know, I'm a boxer by nature. You know, I grew up boxing. I did a little Muay Thai in my life, so I'm not the biggest UFC guy, but I'm interested to see Angel's show. I mean, here's the thoughts for the day. We talked about this already, but don't listen to the reporters. Watch the offensive line. Listen to what the players say coming out of there. The offensive line is the key to the success this year. It is. Tua's going to be fine. The receiving core is going to be fine. There's people officially listed as running backs on the roster. But the O-line is what is going to make or break this offense. We already know the defense can do it. We already know the special teams can do it. But this is a day of celebration, baby. X is here. X is in the building. Like I've been drinking the whole time. It's a little early for me, but I'm on vacation. Screw it. I'm going to Mexico tomorrow. But X is in the building. That's the important part. Look out. Don't attach yourself to some of these. We spend a lot of time in here. We dig deep, right? We're talking about 5th and 6th string receivers. Who's going to be the 8th guy? What's important is how are the top guys going to perform? We got a good year ahead of us. We got X in the building. We got one of the best coach and GM tandems in the business, and we're going to do nothing but improve on last year, man. We here.
It's
Fins
all
up.
day.
And buy some What Was Chula Do stuff.
And where can they find you out on social media? Because they can find me down at Stephen D SKPL. Where can they find you?
So Instagram is What Was Shula Do. That's the actual Shula branding thing. We got to grow that. So please, by all means, if you're a Dolphins fan, even if you don't buy nothing, like it, share it, do all that wonderful stuff. We got to grow. I'm not the best social media person, man. I just come on here and rant. So we're going to work on that. We're going to have some new gear. I was actually kind of having a side conversation about some new gear that's going to be up in time for the season, hopefully. Of course, check out all the DWA stuff right here on MiamiSportsMusic.com. And hey, feel free to yell at this guy, Josh, in the chat box right here. You know what I mean? He won our fantasy football championship last year for the first time since like the Nixon administration, and all of a sudden he thinks he's hot
Nixon
stuff.
administration, love it.
No, man, listen, ride with the team, right? Let's whether it's Jakeem Grant or Albert Wilson or Jacoby Brissett or Noah Igbenogany, like let's ride. We're gonna have a good year. I'm excited. Me and Steve are gonna get together off air probably next week when I get back. So if we're gonna keep doing Tuesdays next month, I'm down. We're just got to get the Mexico thing out of the way. But he's mad.
Are you not here next week?
I'm not sure. I'll call me later. Call me when I sober up.
Look at you.
Hours.
He's like, let my people get back to you. Tell your sister,
people go.
Tell your sister I love her, and I'm super excited for her. Is she going to be there week 1 or week 2 for opening game?
Probably. I don't see why not.
All right, awesome. Because I like her so much better than you. Guys,
that's
this
fair.
has been he's like, that's fair. I get it. That's totally fair. Look, it's going to be awesome. Guys, donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. If you guys cannot do it up here, remember that we have 2 other places you can do it. You can do it here on Cash App as well as through PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. Okay. And make sure you like and subscribe even after. Like today, I want to see this thing being shared on all social media. So make sure today you take that share button and you share it on all your social media for today's episode, because this was awesome. All right. So, bro, I'm super excited for everybody. Thank you for coming on. I love you guys. Be on tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My Spanish-speaking Dolphins fans. Make sure you guys do it. And even if you don't speak it, make sure you get on just to like the show. Okay? Get on to like it. Make sure you share it. Dolphins need your help growing. So make sure you guys do it. All right. I love you all. Be good. Peace up. Fins out. Y'all have a good one.